All right, so you're a loner who doesn't talk much. I'm also a loner who doesn't talk much, right?
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
And you have a tag-along NPC who talks the whole time.
Yeah.
I'll play that.
Also, it's a kobold.
Are we immediately homebrewing races into this game?
Well, for you.
Okay, so you're a loner kobold that doesn't talk much.
Yeah.
I'm a loner kobold that doesn't talk much.
Yeah. And I'm a very social kobold that will just DM for myself the whole time.
I'm the Tom Hardy of kobolds. I'm going to do a lot.
TTRPGs, the ultimate playground of the imagination. These are the journeys of system exploration. Its ongoing mission? To discover innovative game systems, to seek out unique mechanics and new ways to inspire creative storytelling, to thoughtfully explore the systems others have created before us.
Welcome to System Exploration by Unfortunate Ones. I'm Sav,
I'm Nix.
I'm Graythorn.
and today we are going to be doing our session 0 for Daggerheart. We are simultaneously a year late for this, but also it's the anniversary and they're celebrating, so we
Hey.
can celebrate.
Yeah.
I think it's like the anniversary, and like a week after this episode will air,
Yeah.
will be the anniversary of Daggerheart. So,
I mean, I've been following it since they released their like open beta test, and I would have loved if we had the opportunity if we were doing.
we
this,
didn't do
like-
system exploration back then, though.
We just weren't. But like, yeah, I've been following it for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I've been wanting to try to find a way. And I'm glad you took the opportunity to do what's it called? What's the GM? What's the name of the GM for
GM.
GM?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I'm pretty sure it's GM, Game Master.
Yeah. I'm glad you
That went
took
pretty general.
the lead, and you're willing to do be the GM for Daggerheart.
A big call for me is that I have a decent amount of players that have been wanting me to run this on Start Playing.
Okay.
So
nice.
I kind of wanted to learn this anyways. Also, it just looks like an interesting game. There's a lot of things that I like about it. There's a lot of things like I don't necessarily know yet if this would be like a mainstay of games that I play, but there's definitely things that I like about it. I definitely see myself coming back to it at the very least. If
Sure.
not a mainstay, then at the very least I can see myself coming back to it. And a lot of that's just from a mechanical standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, there are aspects of this game that,
Yeah,
like,
and we're gonna get into
once
them.
we get into it, where I'm like, ooh, it's a really interesting idea.
Very interesting takes on certain things, yeah.
Yeah.
So the first half of this episode is going to be us just talking about what is Daggerheart. Simply, what is it? The theme of it, what place that it's trying to fit into, as well as unique mechanics that exist within it. And then we'll go for our break, and then we'll do a little bit of world building and character creation together. So I'm going to introduce the world to a degree, and then we're going to make our characters, and we'll probably jump back and forth a little bit
Sure.
between the world and our character builds. And that'll be our session 0, and then next week, session 1, we will run in that world in Daggerheart. So, what is Daggerheart? Daggerheart is a collaborative, fiction-first fantasy RPG where players and GMs build a heroic story together through character choices and shared world building and emotionally driven play. This is relatively how they frame it themselves.
Yeah, I
I'll
imagine.
talk
That
about
sounded
my
like-
opinion after reading the book, but this is just like a paragraph that felt like the way they
Their
framed
teaser
it to be.
Their
Yeah.
teaser to introduce what the game is.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote this, but...
Oh, you
know.
did?
Yeah, but this is my best understanding of what they claim to be. It focuses on characters as they evolve through lived experience, which I could definitely agree with some of the ways that leveling works. With every moment shaped by the tension of hope and fear, which is a core mechanic of the game, where success and failure both push the narrative forward. So unlike some games that we play where you fail and fuck you, failure is supposed to also push this narrative forward. Rather than playing a fixed plot, the table discovers the story as it unfolds, embracing risk, sharing spotlight, and treating mechanics as tools that support cinematic, consequence-driven scenes. The result is a game of heroic fantasy that's less about winning encounters and more about creating meaningful, improvisational stories about who your characters become and the bond that form between them. And there's actually a lot in that paragraph that I wrote from their claim that I can kind of back up after having read the book. There's a level of bullshit that I think comes with a lot of these systems that claim to be fiction first, because fucking all of them are to a degree.
Yeah. You just described a TTRPG.
Yeah, I know. For the most part. So like when it talks about the tension and hope and fear and failure driving the story forward, there are core mechanics in the game that kind of directly do that. Where, I mean, a good DM does that anyways, right?
I think to lend them credit, I think for the most part, the way a lot of these books approach how they talk to the audience is as if you have no experience with what a TTRPG is. Of course.
But I do think there are some things that are kind of unique in here. So like talking about sharing the spotlight sticks out to me as I read it. And that is kind of a reference to the turn economy of the game, where the spotlight sits predominantly on the players. Not exclusively. There are mechanics where the GM gets to, kind of insert themselves.
Yeah.
But they are inserting themselves where otherwise the players are free to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And the turn economy starts with the party, and it doesn't move away from it moves away from the party as a consequence, not because a turn is over.
Okay.
And you guys decide who wants to act, which I imagine devolves into a lot of meta talk, but to a degree it's like, okay, it's your guys' turn, and Nyx might be like, well, there's something I really want to do right now. And then Gray, you could be like, yeah, go ahead. And then you just get to act. It's not because it's your turn, it's because the party has lent you the spotlight.
There is not an initiative in speed. It is just what is the party doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then talking about, a little bit that kind of fiction first thing that it mentions. And I know a lot of people claim this, and I do not necessarily think that this is the greatest example of that being true, but it is definitely true to a degree more than some other TTRPGs, in the sense that, again, with that spotlight thing, there are actions that you guys can take that, potentially are not challenging, in which case there is no role and no opportunity other than me stealing the spotlight as the GM. You guys get to continue to act. So it's not always the best decision to, I'm a fighter, I slash. Because that is an opportunity for you to fail and the spotlight to come back to the GM. Sometimes, looking around the room or interacting with something is a better decision to do in the moment.
Sure.
And also there are various what would be feats in other systems that you guys could take on that it doesn't necessarily involve you having to roll anything, which means, again, not an opportunity for the GM to act. So you guys can kind of like do buffs and boons and stuff like that, and not necessarily have to pass the spotlight. So there's a little bit more role play in rather than just crunchy mechanics in even combat. But again, a lot of it is I have a sword and I slash still.
Yeah,
it still exists.
It's a TTRPG.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. It's let's talk to each other. Let's talk to DM. Also, I'm going to hit you with the way I can hit you.
Yeah.
Especially if it's hero fantasy right forward is like the...
Yeah.
It's kind of like the context that like Legend of the Mist gives itself is like that like whatever Middle Earthian fantasy, like adventure fantasy, whatever. This is hero fantasy.
This is still hero fantasy. Yeah. You guys will be the heroes of the story, even at lower levels. You are the protagonists, and you do get powerful. I will say the scaling is nowhere near as significant as D&D or Pathfinder, but you do get significantly more powerful. Like, you can absolutely dunk on commoners. You do get way more powerful in the world as you level up, obviously. Talking about evolving through lived experience, one of the features that you guys will have, or technically two of the features that you guys will have on your character sheet, is experience. So if you guys remember like some mechanics from, think of them like tags from Legend in the Mist, or I forget what they were called in Kids on Bikes, but you know how you guys kind of wrote things in for your experiences? It's like that. So you can spend hope, which we'll talk about later, but you could spend hope to otherwise add an applicable experience to something, which gives you a +2 in the beginning of the game. Later, that can evolve into a greater boon as well. But those are experiences, and your experiences can change as the story changes. You know what I mean? Maybe you find yourself getting dunked on, and either that creates, you know, a fear in you, or maybe it bolsters you. Maybe you become hardened because of that, and that becomes one of your new experiences. That's directly pulling from the tale that we're pulling together. So that's kind of what it means by like evolving experiences, I think. But yeah, it's a hero fantasy. So I'm like now talking about it a little more loosey-goosey. It's a hero fantasy. I definitely get the impression from the book and from everybody I hear talking about it that it definitely has that kind of Critical Role grimdark feel to it, almost gothic. I feel like is a pretty common trope that you might find when playing Daggerheart.
Is that an influence of Critical Role as creators, or is it like, can you read that out from the book itself?
I think when I read it, I think of
do the mechanics lend to that kind of
I think like there's sections of the book and like the character creation that to me almost stick. I know there's a lot more people than just the cast and crew of Critical Role that were involved in this book, for the record, but I feel like there's things that kind of pop out where I'm like, that's like very Percy, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like where I can kind of get the sense of like this was definitely designed at that table to a degree.
One of my impressions of this game was that like death is relatively easy or common for characters to go through. I
think that was more the Age of Umbra, Matt Mercer's playthrough. He added a little bit of homebrew to that. Also, by the way, immediately after reading the book and then watching that, I was like, I like his homebrew on top of his homebrew on his own system. I enjoyed, and it did make the game a little bit more harsh.
Okay.
No, it depends on how you run it, realistically.
Sure.
So there's no CR system. Adversaries work in a very different way in this game, but like.
Is that the name of like generalized
adversaries?
Adversaries, okay.
It's categorized very differently in this game as well.
I mean, also, I don't know if you were going to get into it later or whatever, but it is a 2D12 system.
I will.
Okay.
I'll get into all of that. That's when we refer to the hope and fear shit. That's the 2D12. But no, like you could run this where like, you know, in any TTRPG, you could run it a little bit heavier. You could run it a little bit softer. So you can do whatever level of hero fantasy. It doesn't have to be super deadly. The death mechanics, I think, are pretty cool. I think they could be a little bit harsher. I have ideas of how I would already homebrew on top of them. But it won't matter for our playthrough anyways in these like mini campaigns, so we'll just run rules as written. No, I don't think it's necessarily the deadliest of games, but it definitely hits that hero fantasy. Like what it is hero fantasy.
Sure.
This sits on a stage with Pathfinder.
Your characters have superpowers.
D&D.
They have big health pools or relatively big health pools.
Big health pools isn't a huge thing in this game.
Well, I don't.
The numbers don't get too high.
But like the damage threshold.
So actually, yeah. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that when we actually start talking about mechanics. But to give you an idea, a little bit of the world of Daggerheart. Daggerheart encourages the exploration of worlds filled with great magic. These are meant to be
like high magic,
heroic magical worlds. A lot of the classes wield magic. It is relatively reflected in the book that like you're not going to be the only mages in the world as well. If you are a mage, even some of the martial classes, kind of like a paladin, which there's kind of two classes that are similar to paladin. There's a little bit of magic even there. So like it's a relatively magical world. There's wondrous landscapes, mythical beasts, dynamic factions, so like gangs and whatnot. And a lot of these are written into the adversaries in the back of the book. Mysteries, powerful foes, your classic fantasy TTRPG stuff.
Yeah.
While the world your table collaboratively creates
got it, bud.
will be your own.
One.
Daggerheart has established ancestries and is kind of important because a lot of this ties into your character, but also shapes the feeling of a world.
Sure.
Which is why I say it kind of, to me, has that kind of niche, grimdark kind of feel inherently in it. Daggerheart has established ancestries, communities, classes, abilities, and spells. And all of these kind of share a level of thematics that are going to play into any world that you create within Daggerheart. It's definitely very open, but it's going to play into it. There are realms, kind of like the planes of existence in this world. So there's the mortal realms, which is material plane, if you're a D&D guy. Most adventures will likely take place in the mortal realms. This is the land, the sea, the sky, where mortals live out their entire lives. That's where most campaigns will take place. There are the hollows above, the collection of deific territories that once belonged to the forgotten gods, now belong to the new gods. The new gods claimed it at the end of the earliest age. Because this place is closely connected with most other realms, the gods residing here can see and speak with the creatures of the mortal realms without leaving their domain. Which immediately, heaven, but also a relative connection, so involvement of gods.
Very, very Forgotten Realms, D&D, like, gods are a part of the world.
Yeah.
They're part of how you get your powers, how you... you know.
So there's the forgotten gods who lost the realm of the realm is the hollows above. So the forgotten gods lost it. The new gods, as they are referred to now, hold that as their domain. And that's, divine casters and whatnot.
For sure.
Get that from new gods, blah, blah, blah. There is the circles below, the collection of lower realms where many of the forgotten gods, those who fought the most passionately during the uprising, were banished. Known as the fallen gods, these deities lost the divine war with the new gods during the earliest age and have since been deemed evil practitioners of tainted magic. The faint divinities banished alongside them are commonly referred to as demons. And those are descendants from these creatures. Those descendants from these creatures also bear the weight of that identifier, aka what this game's equivalent of tieflings are.
Oh, okay.
So, what I like about that is how not explicit it is. I think you can have fallen gods as your deity and where you get your power from.
Sure.
And that's actually going to play into our world a little bit.
It sounds like the warlock end of
kind of, except I think they are just still gods. I think it's kind of like there are new gods and old gods. The old gods are considered evil by the new gods, but I think that's really up to you.
Yeah. Also, it plays into the idea that you could play a story where like the fallen god and evil god isn't necessarily evil. They're just written to be so by the god currently in power.
Yeah.
It's
it has a very almost like a.
It sets it up as like the misunderstood trope of an evil person.
That, and it also to me just has like this implication of gods on a much higher level are also just adventurers somewhere else as they fucking kill each other and take domains. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very
and
Greek.
Like, they get very Greek. That's what I was that kind of leading to is very Greek mythology.
Fifth edition does that a couple times.
Yeah.
Or like the gods fell from the cosmos and then they became people, and ones that died got replaced by actual adventurers and shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually one of the, like, there's a plane on in Magic the Gathering that's about, it's like very Greek oriented, and it's about like devotion. Like that's how gods happen. And in the story, gods can get replaced if their followers forget them, or if a new god overtakes the devotion of the currently existing god, they become the new god of that mana. Yeah. So it's like, okay, there's a level of like turnover. And then there are stories where like the gods become jealous and they can overcast or they can downfall a god because they just want more power or whatever reason. So that there is a play in the like the soap opera of the gods. Yeah. You know.
And then there are the realms beyond. The cosmos hold many realms beyond these. The elemental lands, the astral realm, the valley of death, and countless others. And that is all it says about the other realms. And I like that. But that kind of sets a precedence for the world. I felt that was important to read, and it is also part of the map that I have created for us because everything I do is always homebrew, and I can't help myself.
Sure.
So I feel like the gods are supposed to be somewhat important, at least if you're a mage, at the very least.
I get that feeling too. It's also they play. It feels like they could play such an important role, or they involve themselves with the mortal realms enough that they would have to be important.
So here's what I like about thus far. I'm sure shit exists. I don't know what official adventures exist thus far.
I don't know anything about official content either.
But what I just read to you is truncated. It's not very truncated. That's about the information that the book gives you. There's the book, the core book. Remember our short where I was like, just release it in one? Thank you, Dagger Heart. So there's the core book. That's pretty much what it tells you. So it is more like a framework. They do a very good job of really dropping thematics on your head without forcing you into anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like God, there are so many books and so much lore. And I know people love that, of like the Forgotten Realms and whatnot. But eventually, to me, that just writes me into a corner of like all these things that I have to adhere to.
I wonder if it's more of a take the damage thing, but I wonder if it's a symptom of it being a new game that doesn't have time to flesh out its world yet, or it versus
it could be
Forgotten Realms D&D. It's been fucking 40 years or whatever.
So here's why I don't think so. So think about for a moment. So like Critical Role, who definitely have a heavy hand in this, play under the GM Matt Mercer, and Matt Mercer just creates his own world every time they play something.
Sure.
So like to
a degree.
At the back of this book, of course, to a degree.
I think that, like, I'm just saying, like, I think the first 3 seasons all take place in the same world.
But it's his.
It is.
Right?
It is his world.
It's not the Sword Coast. It's his world.
It is his world. Yes,
Yeah.
that is true. Yes.
Yeah. So my impression is that I think that they and Matt like that kind of level of freedom. And part of why I think that is this book does not have truly an adventure module in it. What it has is campaign frames. So it has like 6 different worlds, and they're very basically outlined that give a DM an idea, again, thematically, of what this place is.
There isn't like a Sword Coast. There isn't like a specific.
There's not a the Sword
location.
Coast. Sword Coast is one of the 6 type deal. So like there's like, hey, there's a Sword Coast and here's some things that are going on in it that you could incorporate into a campaign into it if you want to.
Sure. Here's a harbor where military people are.
Yeah, they are campaign frames.
Sure.
They are not full adventure modules and they're not that long.
Okay.
And that makes me think kind of like the gods and the realms here, that I think they kind of want to leave it open for GMs. And I'm sure full adventure modules have already in this last year or will come out. I'm sure of it. But I think what they set up was not to be the ones to do it.
Sure.
if that makes sense. And Matt Mercer, I believe he is the origins of this one. I believe this one was written by him, but the Age of Umbra campaign frame is in it, is in the book. It's not directly everything that he incorporated into his actual play. It's just a framework. A lot of it is in there, obviously, but
Sure.
it's a framework.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. Anyways, that's about as much lore as we're going to get into. Now we're going to talk about mechanics.
Okay.
So, you do have traits, which act as ability scores that you might see like in D&D. The traits are agility, strength, finesse, instincts, presence, and knowledge. Some of these I think are very easy to understand, but
If you're familiar with.
the book does have some explanation of like actions that would be otherwise driven by these traits. Your actions are directly driven by these traits because there are no skills in this game. So only the traits. So like agility is your sprinting, leaping, and maneuvering. Strength is to lift something, smash something, or grapple something. Finesse is to control something, hide, to tinker would be a finesse check. Instincts would be to perceive, to sense, to navigate would be an instinct check. Presence, charm, performance, deception, persuasion, things like that would be a presence check. Knowledge would be to recall, analyze, comprehend. So those are the traits within the game. Anytime you guys are making a check, you guys would be, I don't even know if it's called a check in the game, but anytime you guys are doing an action, you guys would roll one of these traits. These traits also drive things like your weapons and your spells are all driven by traits as well. So if you have what would be considered like a finesse weapon, that might be driven by your agility. And if you have something that's more like a warhammer or something, that might be driven by your strength. Sorry, a finesse weapon would almost certainly be driven by finesse.
I was about to say
agility. How fast can you run with this weapon? These are actually swords of shearing. Scissors of shearing.
Yeah.
And they're driven by agility to see how fast you could run with these scissors. So, this game is levels 1 through 10.
Okay.
So 10 is the cap. But within that, there are also what are called tiers of play. So, tiers of play is you hit certain tiers as you level up. There are 4 tiers. So level 1 is tier 1. It's the only one that sits at that tier. Levels 2 through 4 are tier 2. Levels 5 through 7 are tier 3. Levels 8 through 10 are tier 4. And those tiers, a lot of that's kind of GM facing, dictate a few things. So adversaries are tiered. So you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 adversaries. Think of that like the CR rating of this game. Okay. You have weapons that are tiered. Think of it like rarity system. And then you have abilities that you will eventually unlock as you level up that are also tiered. There are also certain level up options that you only get at certain tiers. There are also specific level up options that you get when moving from one tier into another. So level 1 to level 2, you get certain things for moving into tier 2 that you do not get at level 3 or level 4. Level 5, you get the tier 3 stuff. So their tiers of play is kind of how they handle a lot of things. CR rating in terms of D&D, rarity system, a whole bunch of stuff are handled by the tiers that your levels fit into.
Sure.
Which inherently means at tier 2 you should be fighting at level 2 you should be fighting a tier 2 adversary, right? At level 4 you're still fighting a tier 2 adversary. You're just better at it.
Sure.
That's you kind of, you get into a new tier, things are harder. They get a little bit easier until you hop into a new tier. Is kind of how that moves, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Core mechanics. This is the thing that I think gets people most jazzed about this game, the duality dice. The core roll in Daggerheart is made with 2 d12s. One die is your hope die, and one die is your fear die. And you'll notice in the trays that I put in front of you guys, I gave you one blue and one red or something along that. You yourself need to decide which one is the hope and which one is the fear, and lock that in. I think people typically use like blues or greens for hope and like reds or blacks or whatever for fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that is important because the way it works is I still set a DC for things. So certain things have a certain level of difficulty. For the moment, let's say the DC for whatever action you guys are trying to currently do is 10. Okay? So you guys would roll. There is a success with hope, which is when you roll your dice, your total of the 2d12s surpasses the DC. In this instance, you roll a 15, and that total is higher than the DC, so you succeed. That is a success. And if your hope die is higher than your fear die, then that is a success with hope. You rolled with hope. A success with hope tends to mean you get a full success. Whatever you were trying to do, you do. On top of that, you get a resource on your character sheet, which is hope. So you get to mark a hope on your character sheet. Note that you only have a certain amount of hope that you can gather. And realize that every time you roll, you might be gaining hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that to say, spend it. You're supposed to be spending your hope. It is a resource that constantly comes back to you. And it is a resource that caps. So you might as well be spunking it.
Mm-hmm.
A success with fear. Again, you guys roll a 15 on a DC 10 check. But this time, your fear die is greater than your hope die. You still succeed because you rolled higher than the DC. But there are consequences. There might be immediate minor consequences. And also, I, as the GM, get my resource, fear. Every time you guys roll and you roll with fear, I get a fear token or a fear die or whatever you want to call it as a resource. So, a minor example of this would be like, you go to hit a monster. We talked about Spotlight earlier. You go to attack a monster, you're a fighter, you slash. You roll to attack. You successfully hit the monster, but you do so with a fear. As that happens, one, I get the resource fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to stack that in my little resources to do whatever I want to do with them. But also, minor consequence. As a reaction, I might hit you back. So you do successfully hit me, and then I make an attack against you as a consequence of what just happened.
Sure.
Okay. Failure with hope. You roll below a 10. You roll a higher on your hope die, though. You fail at what you are trying to do, but there might be a minor upside. Something might change. This is what I was talking about even failure pushes things forward. Like maybe you're trying to persuade the shopkeep to give you information. You might fail, but something outside might catch your eye.
Sure.
You didn't get what you wanted, and that's not a guarantee that that's going to be helpful to you, but something changes in a way that is otherwise beneficial to you. Also, on a failure with hope, you still gain a hope resource. So even when you are failing, you are still gaining that resource. Again, it is a resource that constantly comes back to you. Spend it. And then failure with fear. That's the fuck you button. You try to hit the monster, you fail, and the monster turns around and hits you back. You gain no hope for that, and I gain a fear for that. You try and persuade the shopkeep to give you a discount. He thinks you're stealing from him, and he immediately calls the city guards on you. And now you're on the run. You fucked it. Things are now bad. or you're trying to get a discount, and he's like, I don't need to sell to you. My business is doing great. Get out of my store. Never come back.
Yeah.
So, failure with fear, that's the big fuck you button. So, those are the 4 possible results when you roll. You roll 2d12. Depending on if fear or hope are higher, whichever is higher is if you rolled with hope or with fear. And then you are still rolling against a DC. Crits. There is no critical failure. If you roll a pair, no matter what the pair is, even Snake Eyes, that is a critical success. Which...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which I honestly forget. Oh, no, I wrote it down here. Nope. It looks like I didn't write it down. I'll have to double check what it is. I know it is considered with hope, so I believe you get hope. I think maybe you can remove a stress point, and then you get exactly what you want. So you succeed. That is the critical success. Hope. A player resource earned from positive rolls, spent to boost actions, activate features, or influence outcomes in the player's favor. So, you can spend a hope, which is that resource on your paper, to give a friend or an ally advantage. The way advantage works in this game is, I believe you add a d6. I'm pretty sure. So you can spend a hope to help Gray with an action, and then Gray, you get to roll a d6 on top of your 2d12s. You can use an experience, so you can spend hope to use an experience, which is you'll have 2 experiences on your character sheet. If they are applicable, you could spend your hope to get a +2 or greater as you level on something.
Oh, okay.
Tag team. You can start a tag team roll. This costs 3 hope. I believe the way that works is you do an action together. So let's say you're both fighters and you're both slashing. You both roll for the action. You decide which roll you want to take. The reason why it's a decision and not just the better roll is because of the hope fear thing. You might choose to fail with hope rather than succeed with fear, if those are your only 2 options. On a success, you both get to add whatever damage or anything that you are doing. So you both succeed. So you're essentially rolling with advantage between 2 people, and then you take the better one, and then you both succeed on whatever it is. So that's a tag team. And then you also use hope to activate certain class features. So every class feature has a hope feature attached to it, and you can spend 3 hope to activate it. It's a powerful thing that you can do. Think of like video games where you you have some meter that rises and all of a sudden you could do a special. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's that. Your class has a specific feature that you could spend 3 hope to do stuff. Fear. A G-arm resource generated from risky or negative rolls that fuels threats, enemy actions, complications, and escalating danger. The GM can use this to introduce a threat, a consequence, or a twist at any time. As long as I have fear, you could be trying to persuade the bartender to give you information, and I could be like, you know what? Fear. That's what this situation needs, as the city guard that you're trying to duck away from enters into the bar. Congratulations. That's something I could do with fear.
Yeah.
I can use it to activate certain features on adversaries. So on an enemy's stat block, they have features that are more powerful that cost fear. I can use it to escalate the tension of a scene or encounters by adding things to it. I can use it to create complications on failed or risky outcomes. So I can spend fear on certain outcomes. I can use it to advance story clocks or looming dangers during downtime. So when there's downtime activities, I could be like, you know what? The bad guys are invading. I can use it to put pressure on the party through environmental or narrative threats. You guys are climbing the mountains and you guys are having too good of a time. I can spend a fear and a storm comes onto your mountains. Dun dun dun. Stress. Stress represents a character's mental and physical strain, tracked in a limited pool of slots marked to fuel abilities or reflect pressure. So I can spend fear to make you guys mark stress. Say there's a situation that's happening, you guys fail a check, a minor consequence happens. That minor consequence could be stress. You guys also might have abilities where you can mark stress in order to do something.
Sure.
Think of it as like, spunking your energy to cast a powerful spell or something like that. You mark a stress in order to do something powerful or negate something or react to something, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's an available resource for the player.
Yes, it is both a consequence and available resource for the player. If all of your stress is marked, so if you have full stress on your sheet and something is otherwise going to put a stress on you, instead, you lose a health point.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask.
So, yeah, it eventually bleeds into your health. You do not want to be overstressed.
Up until that point, does it do anything else? Does it like negate? Does it have like a negative effect to have like half your stress, or is it only as a consequence?
No,
to
it's just something
full?
you don't want to max out.
Okay.
And other things can put stress onto, so you don't even want to come close to it, because if you get yourself close to it and then I make you go over, you're fucked. Marking stress. Fill stress slots on your sheet. Marking your last slot makes you vulnerable, and any vulnerable is a condition. And any excess stress becomes hit point damage if no slots remain. Stress is recoverable during downtime. Stress sources include adversary effects, GM complications, and specific moves. Stress cannot be marked beyond available slots or stacked repeatedly unless a feature explicitly allows it. That is stress. Combat. Spotlight. The current focus of narrative and attention initiative. The spotlight, unless I have a specific ability on an adversary to be able to ambush you, you guys always get the first initiative. Spotlight starts with you. And until you fail or I spend fear, you guys keep that spotlight. So you guys could just have a really lucky string of rolls, and I don't get to do anything unless I spend fear.
When you say that, like, unless specified by an adversary's ability, could you...
I might have an ambush feature.
Sure. Could you, if you did not have an ambush feature and you had an amount of fear, could you...
Certainly. I could do anything with fear. That's the reality of the game. It's ambiguous.
Yeah. So, like, you could essentially give your adversary the ambush feature by using fear.
So one resource that fear is spent on is for me to intervene and say I get to act.
Sure.
You have a successful roll, and then Gray has a successful roll, and then Nyx has another successful roll, and I'm like, that's too many. I'm spending a fear. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I'm getting involved anyway. And I could do that before anything starts by spending a fear.
I was just curious if, like, you could...
It's just I have to spend a resource to do it then.
Yeah. If it's unspecified,
Yeah.
like, you could use your fear to do the thing like an ambush. To do... Well, quote-unquote ambush is just you as an adversary starting first. Yeah.
Correct.
And not necessarily trying to do an ambush or a surprise. It's just you get to act.
Yeah. I also have to spend fear for each action that I take as the DM. So it's not like I get to steal the spotlight and all of my guys get to act. I get to steal the spotlight and act once.
I don't know the game well enough, but I do feel like the DM is going to be drippy with fear.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about like a normal RP session, how many fucking times you guys fail.
I'm going to have Gray on my team, so there's going to be so much fear. Unless this is the...
Well, no, it doesn't matter because it's a 50-50 shot. So
it's Gray.
Yeah. Success...
Depends on the dice that he gave me. But
Okay.
chances are...
Failure and success is skill-based. Hope and fear is 50-50. It's just luck.
I know. I'm just saying.
It's Gray.
It's Gray.
Gray has bad luck.
If there's a luck component to anything, unless Daggerheart is just your hope game.
Maybe it is.
If you're just the hopeful guy.
He's just going to be out here doing his best. He's going to be thriving in a TTRPG like he never has before as he fails with hope every roll.
What a shit game.
Evasion. Evasion is your AC. It's not driven by armor. Your class gives you your base, and then I think your agility adds to it. I forget how evasion is calculated, but we'll get to that when we get into character creation. But your evasion, which goes in that top left box, your evasion is the number to beat. And enemies have evasion as well. Oh, actually, real quick, on the note of hope die, I don't get those.
Yeah, you just get
I
fear.
roll a d20.
Yeah.
So I have a lower chance at success on things because it's a d20.
Oh, you roll a d20 as a DM?
I roll a
or
d20
GM?
only. Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't get the hope fear thing. That is a mechanic for you guys that either gives me a resource or you a resource. And then reaction rolls, if I make you react to something, that the hope fear doesn't matter. It's just success or failure.
Sure. That's funny that the
Interesting.
GM would have a different dice class that they roll.
Also a different average. So a D20,
Yeah.
a D20 is, I know people think it's 10, but a D20 is 11 would be average, right? Yeah, because you can only roll a 1, you can't roll a 0.
It's 10.5.
10.5, whatever.
Technically, but
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Whereas it would be 12.5 or 13.5
like that, yeah.
with 2 D12s.
Yeah.
So I also have a lower average.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah. It
mean-
is a little strange.
Yeah.
It's just because it's unnecessary for me to roll 2 die, I think is the big thing. Also, hero fantasy, you guys have
To me, that's
higher outcome of success.
that's what more it lends to is like.
Yeah.
I don't think it necessarily matters that you don't have to incorporate what hope and fear means.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a mechanic that helps push the narrative forward or help drive forward the idea that like the players are more important than not more important, but the players matter more in the story than what the
a lot of things here are like that.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Is you're giving an advantage to the players.
Yeah. Health, a measure of characters' physical durability. When reduced, they represent injury and risk of defeat. So, it kind of works the opposite. What you have is health slots, and you mark them when you lose health. So right now, on the base sheet, you might have something from a class, but on the base sheet, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 health points.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into damage thresholds next, but you're either, when you get hurt, there's a possibility of taking no damage, 1 damage, 2 damage, or 3 damage.
Yeah.
And when you have only 5 health points, 3 damage is crazy. So you don't have a very big health pool in this game. You have ways of negating damage and negating how much health that you take, but overall you cannot get truly hit very many times.
Sure, but it's like what's the range of damage on average? It's like what is a severe? Let's say I don't know the game well enough. Is 10 damage considered severe on average?
Probably no. Probably
like 20.
That's probably right on the threshold of where at level 1 you guys are going to sit of between minor and major damage. So between 1 and 2 health points.
So let's say 20
for a 10.
Let's say 20. This 20 is likely
20,
to be severe.
you're probably between major and severe.
So I'm just saying, if you that's your average health pool is probably around 40 hits of damage. You know, if you were to try to do a direct calculation off of beyond what you can as a player do to negate some of that damage, like as a level 1 character or a tier 1 character,
you're quite squishy as a tier 1 character.
But to me that's pretty good. Is like 30 to 50 quote unquote hit points. Because you have that.
Oh, sure. It doesn't really increase very much.
Of course, yeah.
Your ability to dodge it increases, but it doesn't really increase very much.
And your the armor you have available to you and all that stuff.
And okay, so we'll just get into damage thresholds. So you have tiered amounts of damage that you can take. And that is driven by your level or your proficiency, I forget. What did I write here? Tiered limits, minor, major, or severe, that determine how incoming damage escalates in severity before affecting hit points or armor. So no, I didn't write it there, but we can get into it when we get into character creation. But you'll have thresholds. So you'll have 2 numbers that you will write into your thresholds if you look on your sheet. So you have a number that you write between minor and major. let's say it's 10. And then you'll have a number between major and severe. Let's say, just as an example, let's say it's 20, right? So if you go basically under that 10, then it is minor damage, which means you mark 1 health point. If you go between the 10 and the 20, then that's major damage. You mark 2 health points. And if you go above that major damage number, above the 20, then that's 3 health points.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is armor slots. So depending on the armor that you wear, you will have a certain amount of armor slots. You can use armor slots not to negate all damage, or at least not always, not inherently. You use armor slots to negate 1 tier of damage in your threshold. So if you were taking severe damage, which would be 3 health points, your armor, you mark a slot, and that brings it down to 2. If it was minor, which would be 1 health point, and you mark a slot, you take no damage. So that's what armor slots are for.
Armor slots are also repairable, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Armor slots are repairable during downtime.
Is it, if all slots are consumed on an armor, the armor isn't destroyed, it's still repairable?
Not inherently. I'm sure people will homebrew that, but no.
Sure. Okay.
But that being said, I believe downtime, there are choices. Only one of them is repairing your armor. And then I think you only repair 1 slot, or you might repair multiple. I'd have to check up on that. But it's an option. It's not inherent.
Sure. Yeah,
it's not magic sleep.
Yeah.
Yay. It's pretty lenient, but it is not magic sleep. Damage dice. If the attack uses a weapon, you roll a number of your weapon's damage dice equal to your proficiency. So at level 1, you guys are going to be proficiency 1. When accounting for damage, a weapon is going to only say D6 or D8. It's not going to have a number attached to it. That number is derived from your proficiency. If you have proficiency 3, you're going to roll 3d8. If you have proficiency 1, you're going to roll 1d8 when you roll damage. So at level 1, you guys are going to be rolling 1, whatever your damage die is for the weapons that you guys choose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Resistance and immunity. Resistance reduces incoming damage by half. Immunity completely negates it. Pretty easy.
Sure.
We already know that. Damage types. There is physical damage, which is caused by a mundane physical force like weapons or brute impact, typically reduced by armor. And there's magical damage, caused by spells or supernatural effects, often bypassing or interacting differently with defenses. It'll say on the spell.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's direct armor, which ignores armor slots entirely and is applied straight to the thresholds or hit points.
Okay.
So direct is like non-negatable damage.
Sure.
Weapons. You'll have a primary weapon, which is your main combat weapon. Only one primary weapon can be equipped at a time. And then you will have if you have a primary weapon that is one-handed, you could also use a secondary weapon, supporting gear like shields or daggers that enhance your combat style. Only one can be equipped at a time, often paired with a one-handed primary weapon. And this is not giving you 2 attacks. This adds to the damage of a attack.
Okay.
Weapon swap. You can change your equipped primary or secondary weapon by marking a stress when you are under pressure or in danger. So it's not a free action or non-action like in D&D. It's not an action like it is in Pathfinder. I'm pretty sure that's an action in Pathfinder. I don't remember what it was in AD&D. In this one, you have to mark that stress resource. And again, that's not something you want to overdo.
Oh, so yeah, that's a hell of a resource cost.
Yeah. Throwing a weapon. Some weapons can be thrown at a target with very close range using a finesse attack roll, dealing normal damage on hit but becoming unavailable until retrieved. So you lose your weapon. And that might be something you do with your actions, is go and retrieve your weapon.
Sure.
And if it's not in a stressful place to retrieve your weapon, you could do that without losing your spotlight. If it is, it's behind the enemy, I might ask you for an agility check to retrieve your weapon. And then you'll fail. And then I go, give me that fear. And then I hit you again. Range. Melee, very close, close, far, very far, out of range. Melee is when you are in direct touchable distance, immediate physical interaction. Very close, you are a few steps away, reachable almost instantly. Close, you are within a room or nearby area, easily seen and quickly reached. Far, medium distance, such as across a field or a large space. Very far, long distance. Targets are barely visible and require effort to reach. It'll take time to reach them, more like a football field at that point. Out of range, they're too far for you to interact with them. So, melee, very close, close, far, very far, out of range. Which kind of lines up with the way that we used to play Realm Watchers, Theater of the Mind. Yeah, you're close enough, you can move in. Who cares?
I mean, yeah. I don't like that there's no medium. There's no medium range, but also, yeah.
That's far. Far is medium distance.
I would love if one of them was called close enough.
Close enough. Cover. Protection behind obstacles that impose disadvantage on attacks targeting you. There's only cover or not cover. That's all. With the expectation that full cover doesn't impose disadvantage, you just can't shoot someone that's in full cover.
Sure.
Conditions. There are only 3. Conditions are temporary status effects that limit actions, mobility, or increase susceptibility to attacks. They end through rest, successful actions, featured effects, or specific narrative triggers. The 3 are hidden, restrained, or vulnerable. Hidden, as you can imagine, is when you are unseen or noticed by enemies and can act without being directly observed. Restrained. Movement is severely limited or stopped until the condition is removed. Vulnerable. Easy to harm. Enemies can gain advantage or deal increased effectiveness against you when you are vulnerable. There are features and spells that would dictate these conditions. I believe also your narrative responses could dictate them. You decide, instead of slashing at the enemy, you're going to put them in an armbar. They're restrained. That makes sense. They may also be vulnerable if someone else is trying to attack them. I might say, hey, they're restrained to you, and they're vulnerable to Gray. And I can also spend fear to attempt to do those things to you. Yay. Death. When you have marked all of your hit points, you are on the verge of death, and you must choose one of 3 death moves. Blaze of Glory. Your character dies heroically by taking one final action that automatically critically succeeds before crossing beyond death. So you get to have one automatic success, automatic crit, and then you're gone. It's your last big hurrah. There are no rolls or anything. You are choosing death, but you're choosing it in a very narrative way. Avoid death. Your character survives by falling unconscious, suffering narrative consequences, and possibly gaining a scar while recovering when healed or after a long rest. After falling unconscious, roll your hope. If the result is equal to or less than your level, your character gains a scar. This is the thing that I said I would homebrew on. I think if you choose this, you should just get a scar. And what a scar is it takes that hope resource and subtracts a slot. If you run out of slots, you have to retire your character because they no longer hold any hope in whatever campaign you are in. They no longer believe whatever you're trying to achieve can be achieved. They are retired.
Sure.
Which is why I think if you choose to just ignore death as a possibility, I would homebrew on top of it. There's no roll. You just get a scar.
Sure.
I don't care about your level in hope die. Fuck you.
I'm still leaning way more towards the witness me kind of end.
Yeah, witness me. That's so much better.
Yeah.
Risk it all.
I need silver mouth spray though.
The last option is risk it all. You roll your duality die. If the hope is higher, you survive and recover some resources. If the fear is higher, you die. 50-50. I believe on the on a critical success, you fully recover. So I believe the way that works is you roll. If your hope is like a 6, then you get 6 health or stress back. It's up to you. You have a pool of 6 because your hope was higher and it was a 6, as an example. And then if your fear is higher, you're dead. Fuck you. And if you critically succeed, all of your stress is removed and all of your health is returned to you. You are just fully back in.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But again, 50-50 shot that you're just dead and didn't get that witness me moment. Witness me! I think everybody should have to Blaze of Glory. Downtime and rest. A short rest is about an hour of recovery. Characters regain limited HP, stress, armor, and hope, and may adjust their gear. A long rest, a longer recovery period that fully restores HP, stress, armor, and hope, and allows deeper recovery or project work. There are still choices, but we'll get.
I was about to say,
we'll get into that later. It is still very, very lenient. It is like if you choose to restore health, I think it's all the health, but I believe there are still choices.
Okay.
Working on the project is just downtime activity projecting shit. If you do a long rest, you can do a downtime thing. Consequences. While you rest, the GM gains fear and the world advances, creating a new threat or escalating situation. I believe at a table like this, I would get 2 fear anytime you guys take a long rest.
Nice.
It's a fear token per player in the party. Refreshing features. Most abilities reset on a short or long rest depending on their type. Some refresh once per session, which is really weird. Refreshing only at the start of a new real-world play session, which is very weird if you're in the middle of a combat. I don't get it.
Say that again.
Some features are reset once per session. So at the beginning of a session.
That is really strange.
Very, very strange. I don't like that. I would have to learn more which features do it and why, but I feel like I would immediately want to homebrew that into a long rest.
Yeah, it's like you sit down to a table, you use that thing, and you can't use it again until you guys come back the next game.
Yeah, and what happens if this campaign is like a fast-moving one and like months go by, and then you're in another campaign on Tuesday where you're in the same combat for 3 sessions in a row and you get to use it 3 times in the same minute?
No, it makes sense. You open your game, you're about to finish out some crazy combat, you use your feature, your characters kind of rush from that, and you have like 7 months of downtime that happen.
Yeah.
And then you pick up again, and you still can't use your feature because you're playing at a table where you play for a long time, and you just don't get to use that ability again. Yeah, your character's locked out of it.
It's the dumbest stretch I've ever heard. General rules, domain cards. So part of what you guys are going to have, abilities that you guys are going to have, is domain cards. We'll get into that. They're tied to your class, but basically they're features tied to your class that you guys choose on level up. Unless stated otherwise, domain cards can be used repeatedly as long as they remain in your loadout. So they are not necessarily passives, but like unless it specifically says on the domain card that it has like a reset feature, like a long rest or short rest or a session, it can be used again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Gold. This one's weird, and I haven't been able to wrap my head around it. And I think the answer is you're just not supposed to and just not care. Wealth is tracked abstractly in handfuls, bags, chests.
I noticed that
scaling
on the sheet.
in groups of 10 for easy conversion.
I noticed that on the sheet. Seems weird.
It seems pretty weird. I don't love it. I think overall the idea is like if you have a bag, then anything that costs a handful, you can just have. And then if you have a chest, anything that costs a bag, you can just have.
I imagine it's a way to make it so players don't have to care about
Money.
Smaller amount of things. But I don't know, in my mind, inherently, it makes it weird that like your character would have like the vocabulary is you have bags of gold. And also if you have, looking at the sheet, there's slots. If you have 5 handfuls of gold and 3 bags of gold, why then how many bags of gold do you have if you have like 5 handfuls? Like, isn't that like a bag?
Base 10.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like
It's just
a weird way
it's
to
just a different terminology for no reason. Yeah.
It's trying to do something fun and creative with a lot of extra steps and like.
I think honestly, where it's really extra steps is I think it should be what I said, which is basically like, I think you should have like coins, and then if you ever reach handful, you just have unlimited coins, and then if you ever reach bags, you just have unlimited handfuls. It's just like a way of not having to deal with the crunch of currency in the game, which I would love in my Saturday game, to be fair. I don't care when they fucking buy something. They never buy anything anyways. It's not a shopping campaign.
I would also prefer if it was just like you have a handful. So it would be like you have a handful, you have a bag, you have a satchel, and you have a chest.
Yeah.
So you don't have multiples of all of these things. How much coin do you have? Oh, I have a handful of gold.
Yeah.
Cool. How much? Like, oh, you have more gold now. How much? Oh, I have a bag of gold.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. It shouldn't be multiples of it.
You shouldn't have you shouldn't have increments of each one. You should just like
you either have a handful or you have a bag.
Yeah. You turn money into narrative instead, and I'm okay with that. To be honest, I'm okay with not having to worry about money. But
why arbitrarily then put the narrative aspect of
you could just replace these words with copper, silver, and gold, and it would mean the same exact thing.
Exactly. Like, why narratively change the thing if it's having the same property?
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's very, very strange. Anyways, that's the last of the mechanics that we're going to go over for like general mechanics. So flow of the game. Just like any other game, you'd probably be introduced into some level of RP, and then as things unfold, you would be met with otherwise challenges or combat. In either of them, you would be rolling either checks or attacks or spells or features. And then the spotlight stays on you guys until you fail or I spend fear. I collect that fear when you guys roll with fear, either in RP or in combat, and then that's mostly it in a nutshell. Like, I know we made it sound crunchy by fucking going over so many rules, but I kind of wanted to just gloss through them real quick. Honestly, I do think this is a game where you could probably just pick it up and play it. It's pretty easy. Like, I think you guys would do probably just as well if I didn't read you all of this garbage and I just told you about the duality die and we just started, and then anytime something came up, it would be like, oh, intuitive for the most part. That's the answer.
So I just got one question.
Mm-hmm.
So at least in the sheet, there is an armor. There's like a big armor icon. Then to the right of that is a bunch of like smaller armor icons. I imagine the smaller armor icons designate your armor slots.
Yeah.
When I first looked at this, it almost felt like you would have multiple pieces of armor that each would have individual slots. But looking at active armor,
no,
it's you have one piece of armor.
You have plate mail. Plate mail comes with a base score, which is what you write in the big one. Let's say it's 3 off the top of my head. I don't actually know. I have to look it up. But let's say it's 3, and then when I hit you, you mark one of these slots. Now you have 2. So it's like, think of it like max armor and then current armor.
Is there?
There's only, like D&D, you have plate armor. You don't have pauldrons and
of course.
Yeah.
Is there a world where armor has 12 slots?
I imagine when you get into like tier 4 armor. So remember what I was saying is that think of like tiers as also rarity when it comes to items.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just wondering because that that's a very substantial amount.
I think probably it's a combination of tiers and more tanky builded characters.
Of course,
classes.
I was just curious because that threw me off for a second when I saw the active armor.
Yeah.
I imagine the game treated armor the way that like 5e does, which is you just have your armor is the encapsulation of all of your armor.
Yeah.
You have your helmet, your breastplate, your greaves, all of that is just armor. Okay. Nothing else other than what you talked about.
We've kind of gone over most of it.
Yeah, everything else on the sheet that I can see.
It's all pretty self-explanatory. Like I'm going over it and I'm looking at like, weapon. Well, the name of the weapon, trait, and range make perfect sense. I don't think that needs to be explained. You know, the trait that drives it, the range that it has, the damage dice, and the type of damage, and then
I can't help. Also, I'm last time to beat a dead horse was every single time I look at it, I can't help but get irritated by the gold thing. Because I'm looking at what looks like 9 slots. I'm just imagining a clinky guy. I'm just imagining a character that's running around with 9 bags of gold. Just
clink, 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 clink. Yeah, it's a little silly. I think the gold thing's a little silly. I'm not totally in love with it.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
Just like I'm not totally in love with the idea of anything refreshing on a session. Literally last night we got to combat, and because I know they've asked for this before, just like because they're really in the moment and they want to.
You're talking about one of your
in a different
parties.
campaign, yeah. And they're like, we want to just see something happening. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do 1 round of combat, and then we're gonna put a pin in it because we're way over time anyways. So we did the round of combat. You can't do that in Daggerheart because all of your players are just going to cheese their refresh on session things in that first round, and then the very next time you show up, they got it back. It's a very weird move.
It seems like a very, very weird rule, and I'm hoping it's for something that's like very specific.
I'm hoping for something very weak.
Yeah,
I would be very curious to find out what abilities apply with that because it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that with the character creation.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say, because we're not leveling up right now, that might look weird on your sheet, you'll notice next to the traits, there's like a little bubble. That is for level up. So one of the options that you could choose on level up is to improve skills, which is basically literally improve traits. So, but you can only do it once in a tier. So you mark, once per trait. So you could pick improving traits multiple times, but a singular trait can only be improved once in a tier. The moment you get to the next tier, so when you guys get to level 2, you might choose to improve your agility and strength. When you get to level 3, you're still in tier 2. You cannot do agility and strength again, but you
so
could do finesse
those
and
reset
instinct.
each new tier.
Once you get to tier 3, everything resets.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of looks a little bit strange on here.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions about mechanics, themes, or anything like that?
I already forgot all of them.
That's honestly, I think it's a very intuitive game. I think it once we start going, like if this wasn't system exploration, I might have just jumped you guys right in. Like if we were just off record playing, because like I think it's a relatively easy game. In fact, that's the last thing I'll actually say on the game itself is where I think it sits. There are a lot of crunchy games, like various versions of D&D, Pathfinder, especially Pathfinder 1. And then there are games that we've been looking into recently that are more rules light. Cypher System, Dragonbane, Legend in the Mist, rules light games, kids on bikes. To me, this feels like a base and rules light that has a little bit of crunch added back into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this feels to me. It's not extensive. Like, as we start going, you'll realize like how really limited this character sheet is and relies just on those checks, hopes, and fears. It's really, really not that extensive. So it still, to me, retains a little bit of that rules light, but there's certainly some crunch and tactics added back in. Whereas in the true rules lights game, there really, really isn't. Especially like Kids on Bikes, you just had traits. That's all that was on the Kids on Bikes sheet, really.
Yeah.
It was just the traits, and then succeed or fail, everything else is RP. This has like that base and rules light with crunch added back on top of it, but in a very light way.
Sure.
Which is why I say it's pretty intuitive, and I think we'll be fine as we start going.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we take a break and start making characters?
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Before we get into actual character creation, I did want us to look at our little mappy poo, Star of Corex. I talked a little bit about world stuff in terms of the realms. Obviously, we're in the mortal realm. But also we mentioned the gods. And the reason for me wanting to mention the gods is we have if you look at this like a star, right? You have the 5 points, and then you have the center. And those are the 6 regions of the maps. The regions are the Heartlands, the Freefells, Veerholm, the Harrow White, the Frontier, and High Peaks. Fells are like rolling grasslands, but like very tall rolling grasslands. So think very rolling plains and grasslands and things like that. At most, you will find like hills and things like that in the Free Fells. So a very green, lush, rolling grasslands, kind of Scotland-esque, if you will. In the north, you have Veerholm, which is mountains with snowy white peaks, very high elevations, commonly snowy weather patterns, things like that. In the Harrow White, it is extremely high elevations. It is a very harsh tundrous land. In the Frontier, think more almost Chaparral, California. You get green mountains, you get open plains, you get very like Western Frontier, hence the name, the Frontier. Very fertile lands, mountainous lands. Overall, relatively not too high elevations. You might get a little bit of snow cap, but not much. Overall, very pleasant weather that you might find in the Frontier. In the Heartlands, you get kind of a little bit of everything, as it kind of borders everything. Being in the center of the map, it is the biggest region of the map. You have a lot of open forests. You get a little bit swampy towards High Peaks. You get a little bit higher elevation towards Veerholm or Harrow Whites. You get more chaparral closer to the Frontier. There are a few lower elevation mountain ranges in the Heartlands. It is probably the most growth and lush and the biggest region of the map, being the center. High Peaks is inaptly named. And it is named High Peaks from an older age. It is a mysterious place. The people from High Peaks are strange. The ones that still live there, the old capital, is now beneath the sea. You do have a city still, Ilir, but otherwise something happened in High Peaks. It used to be a place with high peaks. It is now scattered islands that you don't really know if there are even people on those islands. And then you have the city names. And this is where a little bit of that, the lore from Daggerheart plays in. As you have the cities in the Free Fells, it is Ulthur. In Virholm, it is in the very, very, very north. It is Virel. In the Harrow Whites, Orath. In the Heartlands, Naevor. In the Frontier, Arkwell. And in High Peaks, Ilir. These are the names of fallen gods. In this world, to some people, this map is outdated. Some people in this world follow the new gods. It is up to us whether we want the gods to be very present or otherwise operate through mortal beings as mortals follow through with their plans or whatever. But in the last couple of 100 years or so, the new gods have become more and more prevalent. And this map, to some people in this world, is considered outdated and otherwise worships the fallen gods. Maybe even considers those fallen gods demons, and names like Ulthur are otherwise a plight on the Free Fells, and they don't actually call it Ulthur anymore. So, to some people in the world, this is the map. To some people in the world, this is an outdated map and maybe even blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
If we decide that is true of any place, which is kind of something I want to go over, I want to go through the map, and I kind of want to flesh out a little bit what is going on, but I want to do that with you guys. So, let me pull up my document real quick. Oop, not that. Oh my God. All right, so the things I want to talk about in general first would be the 6 regions of the map. In terms of safety, what are the dangers in any given place? Is it human or is it creatures? Is it the gods? Is it demons? What are the dangers in that place? What does safety look like in that place? What are the people like? What are the laws like? And what is the land like? So, as an example, we can look at the Free Fells and Ulthur. We know that it is rolling grasslands, relatively pretty, very Scotland-esque, but there would be dangers here. I think an overall theme in the Star of Corex is it is a hard place, not necessarily because of the dangers in the world, but a hard place because, medieval times. People are... You have to work hard to be able to get by. Otherwise, you will just wither and die.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is just sitting around. It's not a very relaxing place for the most part.
Yeah. I just don't know, like, how long has civilization been here in this place? Like, do you have an idea of that?
No.
Or...
So this is a relatively blank map.
Okay.
That, like, you wanted to go through a let's build a world together, so I kind of wanted to do that here.
If my immediate thought for your Free Fells is if you're doing Scotland-esque, I don't know how long your civilization is here.
Well, it's not my civilization. Again, this is a blank map.
Okay. Then I would be thinking more like warring Celtic tribes. So
okay.
there isn't necessarily a set in stone, even though there is a marked Ulthur, I imagine that's a city.
It could be a fallen city.
Yeah. It could even be, you could even do Game of Thrones-esque where there is a unified city that the tribes talk. There's like I forgot what that place was called, where it's like a city of peace where the tribes meet and there is no combat in that particular city. Even though there are roving
it's like
tribes.
Like an old Wild West, check your guns at the door.
Oh yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah, that city would be like that.
Probably more, actual, just like almost. I'm picturing. I'm picturing like tentative piece of like it could boil over because people do have weapons, but the rules are.
Yeah, magic is not allowed. Weapons are not to be displayed.
Sure.
Like that kind of thing. If you wanted to go with the warring tribes kind of in that entire area, there is a chance that you could be accosted if you are just traveling.
Okay.
because there is a level of conflict
Yeah, it's wild.
that just exists in this area.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. I'm imagining like there's just a general, if you're traveling to Ulthar from anywhere else, if you're traveling to Ulthar, there's just a fear of ambush. Like you're roaming these cliffs and rolling hills and you're observing them.
Yeah, and the people of there would describe it as, again, attributing more to the names than anything, would be like the Free Fells would be, this is the land of complete freedom.
Yeah.
The people there would describe their lives as free, but people who, if they come from a more civilized place, would be, it's kind of wild out there.
Yeah, it's free but not easy.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of hardship there. But otherwise, it is not. There's no like ruling party or ruling land.
Sure.
There are terms that are come to in the City of Peace, the City of Ulthar. City of Peace would be a cool fucking alternate name, by the way.
Sure.
Actually, I like that. What if this is one of the places that have kind of accepted the new gods into their lives, and they have that City of Peace? Maybe Ulthar, whoever that fallen god was otherwise, very strict or very authoritarian or something.
Yeah, it could have been the empire that existed here was very oppressive, and it's the tribes of the people broke that oppression.
Sure,
and that is what causes the what has been the separation of tribes, or the separation of people, is
sure
they overthrew some sort of oppressive regime that was under Ulthar. So calling it Ulthar would be offensive to them because they broke that the tyranny of
fuck the
Ulthar.
fallen gods.
Yeah.
Do you imagine that spilling out into the Heartlands?
Potentially at the edges of it, like whoever controls the Heartlands, like they probably, in the same way that like the Chinese Empire feared Mongolian invasions at like their borders.
Sure.
It would probably be a very similar thing where there are probably tribes that either see easy targets, or this is part of the tribe for millennia.
Yeah.
Has been this kind of like sweeping the edges of the Heartlands.
Sure. Okay. I dig that. Yeah, I mean, immediately we got new gods, a City of Peace. We have warring tribes that spills out into the Heartlands, which immediately makes me think the Heartlands are more modern in a medieval sense. Like they have city, they have guard, they have potentially military, they have patrols, they have outposts throughout the land.
The way that you describe the Heartlands feel the most civilized, in that it would be because it has the most access to fertile land, which would mean it probably has the most need for agrarian lifestyles.
Sure.
You would have to have areas where you farm. That inherently would lead to people protecting their farmlands. Immediately, the need for like kingdoms or some sort of like government body or something like that. Like
more. Oh, what's the fucking word? Where you have like, what's the word where you have like knights and lords and nobles and whatnot? There's a fucking word.
A monarchy.
Yeah, there's a word that I'm looking for that it doesn't matter. But yeah, like just like a genuinely like varying ranks of status within like you might have knights that serve for an amount of time before they get,
and the Heartlands
lordhood, in which case they get a post somewhere where they look after a certain amount of land, and
it could be the Heartlands is, they would consider themselves the most civilized.
Yeah.
So that potentially is where even this map comes from. And that is, they are some sort of, they could be a republic or monarchy or a theocracy or whatever.
I'm fine with it. We can just call it a kingdom.
It could be a kingdom, sure.
Is it a kingdom that follows Naevor? Does it still follow the fallen gods?
Do you have an opinion, Gray? I only have one more thing I want to interject into the map before I hand it over to Gray, but it's not in the Heartlands.
Okay.
I want giant cavernous areas underneath the high peaks. So
They're like an underground
like
people?
underground areas under the high. So like flipping the high peaks, so you can find entrances into giant cavernous areas where shit's just wild down there. Like it is whereas the free fells are the danger is the people.
Sure.
The high peaks underground, the danger is the world, is the environment, is the creatures, the adversaries. There are people live down there, but also crazy things live down there. And you also have like, like is it spelunking?
Spelunking.
Where like you have areas where there are just gorgeous crystal formations, or even like illuminating crystals, like glowing crystals that illuminate areas of this place. But like you have underground giant caverns.
I kind of want to leave a lot of high peaks to mystery, but I love the idea of like
It can be very mysterious.
I like the idea of like bird's eye view. It looks like a bunch of sunken land that otherwise like is scattered islands, but like truly there's loads of land there beneath the surface that you just don't know about.
Yeah.
I also
under the waters.
I'm also thinking that like the darkness that people live in that subterranean way probably seeps into their culture.
Yeah.
And maybe even with like fallen god magic.
Yeah.
That's cool. I dig that. What are your thoughts? Anything standing out to you?
I am not good with collaborative world building.
Neither am I. That first 2 minutes was, I was like, oh, should we restart the coming back from break where I just lore dump you guys on everything? That first 2 minutes was like heartbreakingly hard to get through. But I love what we've come up with.
So you said that Ulthur doesn't follow the fallen gods?
No, it's like a stain.
It does follow the fallen gods.
No, it doesn't follow the fallen gods. Calling the city Ulthur is like a stain on their history.
That's my original.
They're new
my
gods.
original question. What if Naevor was the only one that did follow the old gods?
Okay.
And they are the kingdom that everyone falls underneath.
And kind of has to deal with in order to do trade with any of the other kingdoms. I like that. So this map is outdated to everybody but Naevor, but maybe Naevor makes the most maps that get sold in the world.
Yeah. Everywhere else, all except for the frontier. Oh, even the free I was about to say, like the Harrows and Verholm feel like they're much harsher just environments.
Verholm and Harrow White. Yes. Yeah. Harrow White is explicitly. So like Verholm is like you have snow caps and whatnot, and you get snow in winter type deal. Harrow White is like snowstorms all the time. You have to be you have to be hard to live in the Harrow White.
Okay,
it's a harsh land, extremely. The frontier is actually quite picturesque. Like it's relatively low elevation, mild climate.
Okay.
When I pictured the frontier when I first made the map, as I struggled not to make any lore, I was picturing a place where people move away from to wrap it into what we've been saying. People move away from like Naevor and big government, big kingdom, and the old gods and whatnot to otherwise like homestead and pop up boom towns and things like that. Is what I was picturing.
Any more you want to add, Gray?
Nothing stands out to you?
No.
I'm just going to keep rolling because I like just throwing ideas out.
Well, hold on. Can I ask him a question that might spark some curious things? So we talk about the Harrow Whites are harsh.
Mm-hmm.
Harsh terrain, harsh climate, otherwise turning around and making hard folk. People that need to work hard, that like are struggling, even if there isn't oppressive forces on them, they are struggling. Maybe that's a part of the map where there are also just fucked up things. And you know exactly what I mean by fucked up things.
Well, you mean like eldritch monsters? Is that what you're trying to get out of me? Giant bugs?
What fucked up things might exist in the snowstorms of the Harrow Whites?
All right. 4'9" extraterrestrial alien cat girls.
I'll put it in. Don't you threaten me with a good time.
Tremors.
Oh, like underground shit? Oh, like fucking
Like the worms from the
snow worms?
snow graboids.
Oh. Are we talking about like gargantuan, or are we talking like Tremors, the movie Tremors?
Tremors the movie.
Okay. So not like Dune.
No, that's silly.
Not that big.
That's silly.
Yeah. But Tremors.
Tremors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said tremors for a reason.
Oh, there's not even anything to look out for. Like you're in the snowstorm, you're living in harsh conditions, and at some point the ground might eat you.
Yeah.
I like that. Are we wrapping Tremors 2 into it as well? Do we got walkers?
The walkers and the ass blasters. What did they call the walkers?
I don't remember.
I just remember the ass blasters.
I don't remember. I've not seen those movies in so long. I like it though. What do we reckon Orath looks like? And what might Orath be called instead of Orath, if Naevor is if the Heartlands are the only people that follow the old gods, the fallen gods, what might Orath be called instead?
Now, are these derived off of actual names of fallen
No.
gods from the book, or just things that you made up?
Just things that I made up and struggled not to put lore behind.
So then I just make up some mixture of vowels and consonants in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You could.
Theresai.
Theresai. Okay. City of Theresai. I'm imagining the city of Theresai is a city with not like cobbled ground, but like very, very thick stone ground mined from the mountains around it so that tremors can't get in.
Or steel.
Yeah, stone, gray bricks, and big gray block.
Do you like that, or do you like
foot by
steel?
foot. No, foot by foot blocks
That's what I was
of
thinking.
stone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like foot by foot blocks of stone that is just the floor of the city. And I'm also imagining like pretty decent walls that wall in the city.
And like shittier edges of the city, they're just kind of trashed and slowly turning to like gravel because graboids show up and just slam their heads into the wall. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I shouldn't be here.
The stone doesn't stop the creatures from trying. I'm imagining unintelligent creatures. The stone doesn't stop them from trying, so they're constantly ruining the ground. I'm picturing the whole city as relatively uneven, like it's just constantly getting battered from beneath.
Yeah, and then repairing it's got to be a bitch.
Horrible. Yeah. Also, repairing it means leaving the city.
Yeah, so you got to get people to go out and mine stone, either cut it there or bring it back. And then you can have like lines of people with just giant spears just ready to jam into the ground and like end up dying with the worm.
Damn. That's fucked up. The Horror White sounds awful.
And there's just one hermit nearby named Bert.
I'll put a bird in there.
He just knows how to deal with them.
Okay. You wanted to say something. You wanted to run on something.
You already did Horrorwhite. I was gonna run.
Oh, you're gonna
with Horrorwhite. But
anything that could add to it,
no,
or
it's, what I was thinking is as a completely different part of it would make it a different place.
Okay. Veerholm has kind of interesting geography, where like it does have land that attaches to the Heartlands, but then it has like a narrow land bridge. It's not that narrow if you think of this map as, a full-size map. It's probably a couple miles wide, but still a narrow bridge. To me, that immediately seems defensible. And the fact that the city, Viral, is like north of that immediately makes me think of a peoples that isolate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, almost like just self-sufficient, want nothing to do with the lands beneath them. And maybe think of it, maybe that's what they call everyone else, the lands beneath.
Sure. I could potentially, to integrate the idea I had in my head, would be the isolated people could be governed or ruled by, because it's just, I find it hilarious. Probably, as you said, they call the lands beneath, probably very intelligent, charismatic, and uppity dragons, like intelligent dragons.
Like I forget what they're called in this, Dracona or something like that. Like Dragonborns or like
like dragons, like actual dragons.
Okay.
Are
we picturing like full scale dragons, or are we picturing like smaller dragons?
It could be like
shape
shapeshifting, where they exist as a person in the world, but they are like god kings. Think like Egypt. You know, the lore of Egypt, where they see themselves as the representation of, or people see them as the new representation of gods, is these kind of long-lived ancient dragons that rule them.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm okay with that. How often are you imagining these dragons make it into the rest of the lands and cause havoc?
Maybe that could be a thing where there is some amount of either them or their progeny cause problems underneath.
Sure.
Maybe in the Heartlands, in the Free Fells, and even in the Harrowite, just kind of like in that whole region around.
Okay.
They just cause crimes in Veerholm, and they're like, you're exiled, and they go cause crimes everywhere else.
Is it a single bloodline, or is it like multiple different bloodlines of dragons?
I mean, I imagine there isn't like, you know, your lore building isn't the same as like whatever Forgotten Realms, where there is like a bloodline tied to color, like blue or white. But I would imagine it would be like, I imagined like a triumvirate or like a council, like a number of them that are all like, what would you call it? Sure of themselves, like they are.
Sure.
They are very uppity,
arrogant.
That is
sure
an arrogant group that sees themselves as better than the people they rule over.
Pick a dragon color, real quick.
I'm thinking the whites.
No. For my thought, pick a random dragon color just for fun.
Oh, I mean, I was just thinking like whites and blues for like it being a high elevated area, just where they would be able to like inherently just camouflage in.
Sure.
Where if you were an ancient being that lived in this place, white would be the color that you would use to hunt.
My thought would be like, my thought was going to be that there's like one known dragon or of these dragon folk, shape-shifting dragons that lives elsewhere. And it's known in the land. That's what I was saying, like pick a random dragon color. Like maybe just like every once in a while you could see him flying around the frontier.
Sure, yeah.
Cool. Okay. What other dangers in general in the world, either specific to a place or just in the world, would you think exists? I think the sea should have fucked up stuff.
Oh, sure. I'm thinking, I was thinking some level of undead or Cthulhu-esque or Illithid, just as a remnants of whatever happened to the High Peaks. So like that entire area and the coastline, if you wanted to be seaborne.
Oh, like anything in the sea is like...
There is an amount or an instance where something might come from the sea.
Yeah.
That could be human shaped.
So you mentioned Seaborn, which is one of the what do they call it on here? It's not Ancestry. Hold on.
Oh, also in my head, a human shaped hole. So something that isn't necessarily you can't describe what you're looking at, but what you can describe it to people is a human shaped hole.
Okay, so there's heritage and then there's ancestry, I believe. But one of them is there's like Loreborn and Slyborn and blah blah. One of them is Seaborn.
Sure.
What if instead of like one large fucked up thing in High Peaks in the sea, what if there's like a multitude of threats within the sea?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
From there are seaborn that hunt these creatures.
Yeah.
Like it is like a status. It is an honor. There are monster hunters of the sea, seaborn monster hunters.
Sure. Yeah.
I also imagine if there's fucked up things in the sea there might be fucked up things along the shore in that area. And I did say that it gets a little swampy.
Yeah. All I know is I want a thing. It doesn't have to be everything, but something that is essentially Vanta Black. There's a thing that is Vanta. That's why I was saying human-shaped hole.
Okay.
There's just a thing that's there. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it is that. It's just that when you think of it, like Cthulhu-esque, when you think of it, you can't think of how to describe it.
Yeah.
Other than it is the void it takes when you look at the thing.
Sure. So we have more like monstrosities in the Horror White. We have the folk threat in the Free Fells. We have the more eldritch horrors in High Peaks. What threats might exist in the Heartlands, in the Frontier, and in Veerholm?
Well, Frontier would probably deal with the problems of the seas as well.
Okay.
I don't know what else they would have. I don't know what else the Heartlands would deal with.
I mean, the Heartlands has a lot of forests, so you could have a lot of foresty type creatures. A lot of
it could just be
Fey-inspired creatures.
Yeah, it could be monstrous beasts of the forest.
Sure.
You know, the things of old, kind of like Hellboy-esque.
What if they're described as like the things the old gods forgot, or the things the forgotten gods forgot? And there's just like...
Or of the forgotten gods.
Yeah.
You know, like they are the children of the forgotten gods.
Yeah. They shouldn't be in the mortal realms. They should be in the... What was it? The something below?
Yeah. What's...
The worlds below, the horrors below, or the hollows below?
What story uses children of the forest? That's Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, that's
They had
little,
some
like,
forest
druid kids, right?
kids in the... Yeah.
That supposedly made the White Walkers or something.
I don't remember the lore. None of it mattered in the end.
Nope.
Okay. What else? All right. So, before we get into character creation, I have one more big question for you guys. Where are we from?
Our characters?
Yeah. Where do we live? I'm imagining us being in one of the cities. I would say probably fuck it. Who cares? Whatever city you guys want. I was going to say maybe we ignore Elir, but yeah, up to you guys.
What fresh hell do you want to be in?
Naevor sounds pretty nice.
Naevor sounds amazing.
What do we establish was wrong with the Frontier?
Oh yeah, we didn't really establish.
We didn't really establish anything terribly wrong. It's like I honestly I kind of imagine it's almost boring. Like it is. It's a very mild climate. It has relatively fertile lands. It is where, in my mind, people moved away from the Heartlands to get away from the kingdom, to get away from the government and whatnot, and go and like homestead.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's a
relatively spread out.
It's a relatively unclaimed.
Yeah,
and people are trying to claim it. Although there should be a reason why it's unclaimed.
Well, I guess their monsters are going to be grizzly bears and...
Yeah, you could just a lot of beasts.
Yeah,
it could be just there hasn't been people there long enough for whatever reason. There haven't been people long enough to otherwise eradicate the natural predators of the land. So there's just a lot of beasts, which means a lot of hunting, but also beasts are themselves inherently dangerous, like bears and wild cats and things like that.
Anyways, fresh hell. Which one?
I think starting off in the place that isn't hell
sounds
more interesting.
So High
Want to be Naevorians?
Yeah, because then it's like, oh, hey, you're from this place that isn't hell. Time to go to hell.
It also could lend to some naive amount of if we go anywhere to be like, oh my God, what? Why do you live this way?
Well, also, you guys would inherently be able to experience bigotry. Because you would be, if you're from Naevor, you're from the only place that follows the
we're
old
the
gods.
bigots. Look at these people. Look at these people. All right, living in their hellish ways, tied to their new gods.
Yeah. Maybe the Harrow White wouldn't still be so bad if you followed the old gods.
Yeah, you would get to be mean to us because we would address your people as from Ulthor, and they'd be like, "You son of a bitch."
Look, if you just followed the old gods, you would have 9'4" cat milfs.
Okay, so we're from Naevor.
Yeah.
Okay. What is Naevor like? The actual, the city, the capital of it. Well, Naevor is the name of the city. The Heartlands is the region. We're from the Heartlands. We're from Naevor. What is Naevor?
Monarchy, republic, theocracy. What do you want to roll with? Some form of council, elders.
What's a theocracy? Is that's the religious
ruled by
type,
gods? Right? Like it's like the church.
Ruled by gods sounds right.
Okay,
so very
theocracy.
church.
Yeah, so very.
That makes sense for Naevor as well, being the one that like follows the old god. So it's like the church, the church of Naevor.
Yeah, the church rules the area. The church is the guidepost. So
sure,
a series of priests, high priests, archpriests.
Yeah, ruled by like theologians and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question that I think I want Gray to answer. Clearly, we're looking at a pantheon. There's a lot of gods' names on this map.
Mm-hmm.
Also, fun fact, this inherently means that this map is accurate for you all. I don't have to make a second one. What was Naevor the god of? Now with contested domain with the new gods, but you still follow him, what was he the god of? And still trying to be the god of?
You're asking Gray, right?
Yeah.
Order and justice.
Order and justice. Oh, order and justice. A place ran by a church. That's fucking hardcore. Is it a relatively dense city? Does it have castle walls? Is there?
Oh, I'm imagining there's layers of civilization here.
Sure. Is the city defended by, or otherwise policed by, guards? Is the guards separate from the church? Still under the church, but is it a different branch, or is it literally like priest paladins that are the guards of this place?
Separate from the church. I'm thinking like Roman in nature, right? So you'd have regular lawmen, soldiers, etc. Then the higher up you go, you'll have like the church army.
Yeah, I was thinking there would be some form of Templars, like a
holy army,
but there could be like a Caesar. There could be your general that commands the actual foot force of the major army.
Sure. Is there a figurehead of the church, like a pope?
I would have matched.
Yeah,
there's the voice of God, and some whatever.
The voice of Naevor.
Yeah, the voice of Naevor.
That's cool. Naevor. That's cool. Okay. What is the spread of status? Like, does this place actually genuinely run well? Or is there a pretty big gap between poverty and the upper echelons, the people that are in control of the place? We did talk about there being kind of like lords and whatnot that are held, probably that were either holy knights or city guard at one point, or nobility or whatever, that eventually earned lordship and the right to own land. They probably have
I would say
lords of this region would look over this region in these farms and have their own knights and
I would
guards.
say that closer to Naevor, the difference is smaller. Because say you come from a place that you're near Naevor, you're not doing so well. Maybe you come into poverty somehow. They'll find a way for you to be a contributing member of society. Like, well, maybe we'll train you up to be a town guard. Now you're a town guard, you get pay.
Is there just always room for a rank?
Well, there's grunts.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is there just always room for a grunt?
Yeah,
anybody that's in hard times could just go and sign up and be a grunt.
They figure it out. If there's too many in here, there's like, okay, you know what? This place out there needs some help. Go
Yeah.
out there, and now you're guards and farmers, and you help that farm
The
build
order
itself back up.
Yeah, the order part of the place maintains that order, and part of maintaining that order.
But the
would be-
further away you get from Naevor, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
Okay. I imagine also pretty dependent on like whatever, like you're sent over here like, hey, the Lord of whatever needs recruits anyways, so now you go live over there. And then it's really, really a roll of the dice, whether it's a benevolent Lord or
regions
or an authoritarian Lord.
The regions of the area would determine it. And I think also probably breadbasket areas would be more defended than just like places where people live.
Okay. Are you particularly at war with any of these places?
I would imagine.
Or skirmish at the very least?
I would imagine there's crazy skirmishes with the Free Fells, at least.
I imagine the Free Fells will be at their own throats, won't they?
Yeah, but also like they would, but at the edges of the
Yeah,
kind
empire.
of bleeding into the heartlands.
I imagine
thinking
the Free
heartlands should be
Fells
free.
and the High Peaks might have the most danger coming out of them.
Yes. That's what I would think too.
Okay. Understood. What else? Okay, so here's a question. So, relatively less gap, relatively well organized, a oiled machine. There's not much need for poverty because anybody could become a recruit. It does mean somewhat giving up agency of your life, and you might be sent way the fuck over here and never see your family again, but there is station to be had as long as you volunteer for it. So I imagine in Naevor, there would be less crime, and crime would be very hidden and underground. And when it gets found, it gets cracked down on hard.
Yeah, I would imagine crime is very openly and harshly punished.
Yeah.
And also in my mind, I would also heavily air quote volunteer.
Well, volunteer in the sense that like you go and sign up, but also it's like, well, there is not much else that I could be in this world. Like if I'm not a family of farmers, I can't just own a farm.
We find you dying on the side of the street. We're taking you to go either become guard or clergy.
Sure.
Come on, let's go.
Only because I've been on only because I've been on a Halo kick recently. Could there
There's
be
a halo in the sky.
No, I'm thinking of like a rank within like the upper echelons of the Holy Warriors. There is a rank that just is a league above the rest. Oh, fuck, what's the word? Inquisitors.
Sure.
There's like Inquisitors that are people like that were just like orphans in the street or whatever, that were just taken, sent somewhere else away from Naevor, came back like 20, 25 years later and have spent the whole time just being trained to be a holy warrior.
Sure.
And are just this unbelievable force that is, sent out into the world.
Sure.
There are other people with a similar rank, but these are the fucking holy shit ones.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, we don't need to decide this yet. We obviously are from Naevor. I want you guys, because I want you guys to experience some of the, get to know your party things when we create our characters. So, keep in mind, we're all from Naevor, and you guys know each other. You don't necessarily need to, but you can be a player party already. Entirely up to you guys. But you at least know each other, which inherently means you interact frequently, for whatever that means. You don't necessarily need to be of the same class, of the same organization, of the same rank, though you can be. You can be just brothers in arms or two criminals in this underground network in Naevor constantly looking over your shoulders to be cracked down on. You can be that close-knit. You don't need to, but you need to be at least frequently enough in each other's lives where you would have a relationship and know things about each other. Okay? As we are building characters, just something to keep in the back of your mind. We can decide what that is later, but just something to keep in the back of your mind. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, let's do some character creation. Dun, dun, dun.
All right, so you're a loner who doesn't talk much. I'm also a loner who doesn't talk much, right?
Okay.
Can't
All right.
wait.
Got it.
and you have a tag-along NPC who talks the whole time.
Yeah.
I'll play that.
Yeah. Also, it's a kobold.
Are we immediately homebrewing races into this game?
Well, for you.
Okay, so you're a lunar kobold that doesn't talk much.
Yeah.
I'm a lunar kobold that doesn't talk much.
Yeah. And I'm a very social kobold that will just DM for myself the whole time.
I'm the Tom Hardy of kobolds. I'm going to do a lot. Yeah.
So, step 1 is choosing your class. Your chosen class grants you the following things. Your domains. So each class gets 2 domains. And it's important. We'll talk about this in a moment. But those domains are shared with other classes. So basically, you will have in your class, you will have 2 domains. One of those domains will be shared with a different class. We'll call that class B. And then your other domain will be shared with class C. So there is some homogeneous character overlap inherently in character builds. You have shared domains with someone.
Okay.
Now, in a small party like this, you guys might not have shared domains with each other, but there are shared domains. And if you have a party of like 6, you're very, very likely to have shared domains, which means shared feature choices or otherwise domain cards that you would pick from. So you could even have overlapping features, even being 2 different classes. There is actually, if you go to that link that I had sent to you, there is a pretty picture. It is called, it is a pretty circle. And it also, to me, indicates a lot of thought put into both the classes and domains of this system. So for example, you have on that outer circle, you have a domain. I don't know them by symbol off the top of my head, but the sorcerer and druid share a domain. And they have features or domain cards that they would otherwise share. So when they get to a certain level where they get to choose a domain card, they're pulling from that same stack.
Okay.
Just kind of neat. There's a little bit of homogeny kind of built into the classes. You also get from your class your starting evasion, your starting hit points, because some classes have more hit points than others, your class items, your class features, and your class's hope feature. Each class has a special move that they can make by spending hope. Your chosen subclass grants you a spellcasting trait if you're a spellcaster, a foundation feature from that subclass, a specialization feature, and a mastery feature that you would get through leveling if you choose them. I do believe that you start with that foundation feature, though, no matter what. I'm pretty sure. And the classes are as followed. There is the Bard, which I don't need to explain too much. It's the Bard. Charismatic performer using entertainment to captivate others or whatever. There's the Druid, which is a druid. Then there's the Guardian. The Guardian is a martial tank. I think it sits kind of somewhere between a barbarian and a paladin, would be the easiest explanation that I could give. An unwavering protector who fights with relentless ferocity and moral resolve, standing on the front lines to defend those they care for above all else. There's a Ranger, which is a Ranger. There's the Rogue, which is a Rogue. There's a Seraph. Seraph are more close to a Paladin. So while the Guardian is like a barbarian Paladin, Seraph is just a Paladin. You are a divine warrior. You are a divine champion empowered by their god who wield sacred powers to heal, protect, smite in service of a higher purpose. That is the Seraph. There is, I probably should be reading the subclasses. One of them is called Winged Sentinels, and you quite literally get to fly if you are a Seraph. Sorcerer, innate spellcaster. You're a sorcerer. Warrior is basically a fighter. Wizard is a wizard. Those are your classes. As we go to choose the classes, and I am happy to pass around the book if you guys want to read through them. You will also be able to see the subclasses that you would have. There are 2 subclasses for each class. And then once we choose them, your class does have recommendations on builds, which you are more than welcome to use, but you don't have to. As you don't roll for stats in this game, there is a standard array.
Okay.
While you guys are choosing, I'm just going to read aloud what I have written for these subclasses. For anybody that might be listening. For the Bard, there's the Troubadour subclass. You play music to bolster your allies, is the description. Or there is the Wordsmith, where you use clever wordplay to captivate crowds. For the Druid, there is the Warden of the Elements, embodying the natural elements of the wild. And then there is the Warden of Renewal, using powerful magic to heal your party. For the Guardian, there is the Stalwart, taking heavy blows and keep fighting. There's Vengeance, striking down enemies who harm you or your allies. These are what the classes are, good for. For the Ranger class, there is the subclass Beastbound, where you form a deep bond with an animal ally, so you get an animal companion. And then there is the Wayfinder subclass, hunting your prey and striking with deadly force, so you are a deadly hunter. For the Rogue, there's the Nightwalker, where you manipulate shadows to maneuver through the environment. Or there is Syndicate, where you have a web of contacts everywhere you go. For the Seraph, there's the Divine Wielder, dominating the battlefield with a legendary weapon. Or there is the Winged Sentinel, taking flight and striking crushing blows from the sky. For Sorcerer, the subclasses are Elemental Origin, channeling the raw power of a particular element. You choose the element. And there is Primal Origin, extending the versatility of your spells in powerful ways. For Warrior, there is the Call of the Brave, using the might of your enemies to fuel your own power. And the Call of the Slayer, striking down adversaries with immense force. And for the Wizard class, there is the subclass School of Knowledge, a keen understanding of the world around you. Or the School of War, utilizing trained magic for violence.
Are you leaning in any direction, Gray? Like magic casting, or like non-magic?
Not yet. I mean, I don't know what the subclasses look like.
Now that you're looking at the book, you can kind of see them a little bit.
If you go beyond that, if you continue to go forward, there's more detail on that.
On the subclasses individually? Yeah.
I was joking about cat girls, but they're already in here.
There are cat girls. Yeah,
I think
Qatari.
what the Qatari?
Yeah. Qatari
Yeah, there are.
I have 2 directions I could go, depending on where Gray wants to go.
What are you looking at?
So one is being a meme of because I already looked at the available heritages, and I can't not pick Simia.
Yeah,
it's just
Nick
I have
Simia
to.
can't pick.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be what I am going with. And then doing the Element Sorcerer.
Okay.
Powered by fire, because if I don't find a hot tub, I'll make my own hot tub.
Obviously.
And then if Gray wants to do magic, I'd rather lean away from magic, and I will do like the Warrior Slayer, because the description of Simia is part of it is like talks about your physical prowess, So I imagine my character would be a strong character. So just kind of the Slayer would be the
Sure. Just handed you the
the option if I went melee, if I went non-magic. I feel like to try to find a balance for this would be one magic caster, one non-magic. Also, of course, yeah, my monkey will look like a snow monkey, like a Japanese macaque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to look like your little card. For once, your art also looks like your character.
Yeah.
I almost want to do the thing that a lot of actual plays do, where they just have like the little character tokens at the bottom, but it's just a silhouette for Gray for whatever Gray chooses to be, and for you, it's your character again. It's just your character in the sitting position in the chair art.
I remember when we first talked about this and you showed us the cards, like how many weeks ago that was. And when I was thumbing through the heritages, I saw the turtle or the fungus.
The fungus, yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah.
I want a big old fungus cap.
Chubby, like jiggling fungus. That's.
Oh, I like the there's art somewhere in the book that caught me, which is like being a small creature, just being this little thing, but with like double my height, being this big mushroom on my head. No, there's art of that in their book somewhere, and I love it so much.
I was thinking of being this like trying to be a deeper voice, slow moving, kind of like big chubby fungus. And we choose our community? Or is that a different thing?
You will.
Okay.
Yeah, community, that's what it is, not ancestry. Community, thank you.
Well, heritage is...
Community might be something you guys want to choose together. That might be a bounce back to our world.
Yeah, Orderborn is one of them, and Orderborn might be the most logical in terms of where we are, but also depending on what we choose to be.
You could be Slyborn. You could be that underground crime that happens to exist.
Yeah, but also to be pompous people that walk around judging others would be a hunt that fits Orderborn. Law-driven communities built on discipline, hierarchy, stability, valuing structure as a foundation of society.
I imagine most of
Naevor.
Naevor. Most of Naevor, I imagine to be Orderborn. Yeah.
Is Naevor a soccer player?
Yes.
That's why that keeps my
it's the god of soccer.
My brain keeps fucking ticking back to that as the pronunciation.
Isn't he the one that cries a lot?
I think so. Well, it's professional soccer. There's a lot of you got to get your call.
Cries more than all the other babies.
Look, you got to get the attention of the ref somehow.
Somebody touches your shoulder, you got to hit the ground.
Yeah.
What's the general culture of Naevor?
What do you mean? Like,
I think we described the Ulthor region as like Scottish.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if there was a description for like a general theming of
in my mind,
Naevor.
In my mind, it's just the Hunchback of Notre Dame everywhere.
So like 17th century France, right? Is that what it is?
I guess
18th century. France?
I don't play this game anymore.
No, so in my mind, it's like
I just got that. My brain just registered what he said.
In my mind, it's like, relative medieval times with a very heavy church influence on the local religion, on the region around it, and on the government itself.
Like medieval Europe.
Yeah. And a little bit of, like, I imagine a little bit of Holy Conquest.
Crusades era.
A little bit of Crusades going on.
Yeah, Crusades era Europe. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Roll a die for me. Odds, rogue, even, warrior.
Rogue.
Okay.
You're going rogue?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm fire monkey.
Okay. Sweet. Let me give you guys your little sub. Do you know what subclass?
Syndicate.
Okay. I gotta find the cards here, but I will hand them out to you.
That book hurts. I don't know why that book hurts to hold.
The book hurts. That's what Gray said out loud on the microphone.
I mean, most books do hurt. They hurt my head. So I don't read.
You're a sorcerer, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm doing sorcerer, element something. Elemental origin.
I'll hand you all three just so you could see what you'd be working towards, but you only get the foundation card.
He only actually gets one?
Yeah, you get the foundation card.
Okay, just as tier 1.
Through leveling, you get the
other ones.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, here's one of those once per session things.
Oh, what is it?
You can briefly call on a shady contact. Choose one of the following benefits and describe what brought them here to help you in this moment. 1 handful of gold, a unique tool or mundane object that the situation requires. On your next action roll, their help provides a +3 bonus to the result of your hope or fear. And the next time you deal damage, they snipe from the shadows, dealing 2d8 your damage roll.
That's crazy that's once per session and not.
I mean, I get why you would want to limit it. It's such a weird meta thing.
No, I get why you'd want to limit it. Limit it once per session?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's a weird meta call. So, like, I get why. Because if it was like once per long rest, that makes it weird too. Because it's how much you could abuse that in a single session. I don't know. That's a weird ability to me.
Yeah, that seems.
It feels very
That seems very strange.
Honey Heist to me.
Well, it makes sense with Honey Heist.
Yeah. This is
Because
like
Honey Heist doesn't need to make sense.
yeah.
Oh, and there's another one. With this one, I could use 3 times per session, though.
Oh, good.
It's just a strange mechanic to have written in that way.
Man, I could be an evasive little monkey.
For the sorcerer, you can mark this on your sheet. Your starting evasion is 10. And then your starting hit points is 6. So you need to add a box.
I need to add a box?
Currently, you only have 5 available slots.
Oh.
You need to add a 6th slot.
Oh,
so you
okay.
just outline the box.
I didn't understand what you meant by that. My Simia gives me a base +1 evasion.
Okay.
So my evasion is 11. If
Yep.
the base is okay.
I believe so.
I don't know if that's get boosted by other things, but that's 11 for now.
And then your class items, I don't believe these do anything, is a whispering orb or a family heirloom.
When they don't do anything?
I don't think so. I think they're like roleplay objects.
Are you the Whispering Orb?
Sure.
Okay.
One of these orbs tells the truth, and there's only one, but it also lies. For rogue, your starting evasion is 12. You also have 6 hit points, so you need to outline an extra box. And your class item is a set of forgery tools or a grappling hook.
We are level 1, correct?
Correct. All right. Sorcerer's Hope feature. Volatile magic. You spend 3 hope to re-roll any number of your damage dice on an attack that deals magic damage.
So 3 hope to re-roll damage die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then you have some class features as well. So you have... These are outside of the foundation.
Oh, outside of the foundation. Where do I put these?
There should be a features in the bottom left. Class
Right
features.
there. Sorry.
You have Arcane Sense. You can sense the presence of magical people and objects within close range. For the Rogue, your Hope feature, Rogue's Dodge. Spend 3 hope to gain a +2 bonus to your evasion until the next time an attack succeeds against you. This bonus lasts until your next rest. For the Sorcerer, Minor Illusion. Make a spellcast roll, 10. I'm assuming that means DC 10.
Mm-hmm.
On a success, you create a minor visual illusion no larger than yourself. within close range. This illusion is convincing to anyone at close range or farther.
Spellcasting roll, DC 10, minor illusion, no bigger than self.
Convincing at close range or farther.
Okay.
So very close or melee would not be convincing. For the rogue, cloaked. At any time you would be hidden, you are instead cloaked. In addition to the benefit of being hidden, while cloaked, you remain unseen if you are stationary when an adversary moves to where they would normally see you. When you move into or within an adversary's line of sight or make an attack, you are no longer cloaked. So if you're hidden, you're basically
I'm essentially invisible.
Yeah. Until you move. If you're stationary, you're invisible.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one, Sorcerer. Channel Raw Power. Once per long rest, you can place a domain card from your loadout into your vault and choose to either gain hope equal to the level of the card or enhance a spell that deals damage, gaining a bonus to your damage roll equal to twice the level of the card. And I'll explain what that means. When you choose your domain cards, you can choose more and more domain cards as you level up, but you can only hold like 5, and you can only change them, I believe, on a long rest. You can choose to move one of those 5 active ones away from being active, and that gains you hope equal to the level of the card, so each domain card has a level to it, or enhance a spell with a bonus equal to the level of the card.
So gain hope or up damage.
Yeah, by removing a domain card. And that's your last class feature. For the rogue, you have one more class feature. Sneak attack. Hey! Family friendly. When you succeed on an attack with while cloaked, or while an ally is within melee range of your target, add a number of d6s equal to your tier to the damage roll. So when you are cloaked, you can add a d6. Or when a friend is in melee range of your target. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, if you could hand these over to Gray, please. You will choose your heritage. I know we already have a Simia, as played by Nick Simia. There are also clanks, which are like constructs, living constructs of metal and magic created for the purpose.
Nope.
Blah, 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 blah. Dracana, which is dragonfolk, dwarf, elf, a fairy.
Maybe.
Fairies are elusive magical
about
beings of wonder and trickery. Faun, nature-attuned wanderers with both mortal and beast-like traits, often embodying music, revelry, and wild instincts. Furbolgs, we know what that is. Fungril, mushroom folk, connected to spores and collective memory, thriving in damp fungal ecosystems with strange resilience and communal awareness. Galappa, slow-moving, turtle-like wanderers, so turtles from D&D, with immense patience and wisdom, often carrying their homes and histories upon their back. Giants, akin to Goliaths, towering beings of immense strength and presence. Goblins are goblins, halflings, humans. Infernus, which is akin to tieflings. Beings touched by infernal flames and chaos, carrying dangerous inner fire that can destroy or transform depending on control. Qatari, feline humanoids, defined by agility, curiosity, and fierce independence, balancing playful charm and lethal precision. Orc. Ribbit, which is amphibious frog-like folk. Simia, which is monkey-like folk.
What's advantage in this game?
You add a d6.
How do you feel about a giant rogue?
How do you feel about giant rogue?
How do you feel about it?
How do you feel about a giant rogue with like a 3 to 4 foot monkey friend?
Yeah, the rogue's just standing there invisibly to anyone. You can't see them. They're just this 9-foot towering creature.
With a floating monkey on its back?
And it has a dagger in its hand. It's a regular dagger. So it looks like I'm holding this pencil right now.
You guys are ridiculous.
I didn't hear a no.
I'm not going to say no. Rogue doesn't mean little.
Well, it implies stealth.
Be a big guy and be stealthy.
A turtle rogue who's always trying to leave people with bread. I will say though, the construction of the book and these cards are really high quality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a super nice set.
Yeah. I mean, I like a lot of the effort that was put into this system. Like
Yeah.
the artwork, the cards, the general condensing of how like even like as much as the sheet is relatively simple, it's a really good looking sheet.
Yeah.
Like they have all the information you need on there. It's relatively concise.
It's always strange, like when I look at the D&D artwork and like in the player's handbook for 5th edition,
Mhm.
it always just looks wonky to me.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like because it's like there's like there's a style guide that it has that sometimes some artists deviate away from pretty harshly. And I think there's such an association with how it's supposed to look that I feel like it sometimes you look at it and it feels funny. Versus this is like this is so stylized that even like deviations in the art where like they don't necessarily look like, of course they're not from the same artist, because everything is so stylized, they're getting away with it, you know, like everything fits.
Yeah, because like I'm looking at like here the goblin and the giant, they both have different artists, but like I see them fitting in the same.
Exactly, yeah. The stylization works together.
I don't think any of these have the same artist.
No.
No, the giant, the goblin, and the fungrel have the same artist, but
Oh, really?
yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, I like that too. It's attributed right there.
Yeah, I will say this: like the actual construction, the artwork, the materials of the physical stuff here is really nice.
Yeah.
Do you got a D6 on you, Sav?
I got a D12.
That's divisible by 3.
Yeah.
1 for fairy, 2 for goblin, 3 for giant.
It's 12. It's a giant.
The giant.
Okay. A giant rogue.
It was meant to be.
Community. Choose your community. So there is highborn, loreborn, orderborn, ridgeborn, seaborn, slyborn, underborn, wanderborn, and wildborn. And these are all relatively what they sound like. So highborn, communities of privilege and refinement who value legacy, culture, and influence, often shaping the world through political and social powers. Loreborn, knowledge-based, lore-based. Orderborn, structure, law-driven communities built on discipline, hierarchy, stability. Ridgeborn, mountain folk. Seaborn, sea folk. Slyborn, secretive, cunning communities that thrive in the shadows of society. Underborn, subterranean folk. Wanderborn, nomads. Wildborn, wild peoples. Now, we go back to that question that I asked you guys to hold in the back of your head is you grow up in this city of Naevor. You guys know each other relatively. And conveniently in Naevor, there's everything but the sea. You could be a wanderer through the wilds of the Heartlands. You could be a Slyborn, and that could potentially be the little bit of crime that does exist within the city. Or it could be, like secret investigators for the crown type deal, or for the church. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be crime. Ridgeborn, there are plenty of mountains in the area. Orderborn, Loreborn, and Highborn, I feel like all generally fit the city. So this is kind of one of the places where I think we come back to the world building and the party building, is picking things that otherwise make sense to you and what kind of party you guys want to be and who you are in this city and in the world.
So when you pick community, is that based off the origins of the character or where the character currently is?
It could be either.
Where are you leaning, Gray?
I just figured Orderborn.
Okay.
There's Orderborn. And I got one for Gray as well. Can I ask why? Or do you have a reason why?
No.
Or just general?
Yeah.
General Orderborn makes sense to you?
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay.
Do we do the three sayings thing?
The what? Read it.
So dedicated under Orderborn is record three sayings or values your upbringing instilled in you. Once per rest, when you describe how you're embodying one of those principles through your current action, you can roll a d20 as your hope die.
Oh, cool. Yeah, why not? Do you want to do that now, or you want to do that later when we establish things a little more?
I'd rather establish things first.
Okay.
Languages. In Daggerheart, you are not asked to pick specific languages for your character. The game assumes that everyone speaks a common language. It's up to you whether through mundane or magical means, and that sign language is widely understood across cultures and communities. If you'd like to have specific regional languages in your campaign, discuss options with your table. I kind of would just go back to relative D&D, which would be everybody speaks common, and then the heritage cards that we have, each heritage would probably have its own language.
Sure.
Giant speak giant. Simia speak Simia.
Sure.
That's what I imagine for a world like this.
That's fine.
Now, for assigning character traits, distribute the following array of values across your character traits. You have a +2, a +1, a +1, a 0, a 0, and a -1.
The actual class has the...
Oh, does it have on the cards?
At least mine says spellcast trait. So there's a trait that should be
Oh, there's
my higher
one that
focus.
should be your height. Yeah.
Yeah. It's 211.
2, 1, 1, 0, 0,
Negative
-1.
one. Okay.
For sorcerer, the suggested trait is 0, -1, 1, 2, 1, 0.
That's exactly what I did.
And for rogue, it is 1, -1, 2, 0, 1, 0. Those are the suggested traits.
I will have one complaint about the character sheet,
Mm-hmm.
and it's that these
Is that I printed it poorly?
These bars shouldn't be like dotted. They should just be filled, and you should just put a line as to where your HP or stress cuts off.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
I get
yeah.
what you mean.
Yeah, that would actually probably be a lot better.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, put a little bit more gap, maybe. I mean, you probably don't even need to do that. Yeah, no. That's a lot cleaner. I like that.
You will start with 2 hope.
Yeah.
And then we need to choose our starting equipment. We will be choosing only tier 1 equipment. So you will choose a either 1 2-handed primary weapon or a 1-handed primary and a 1-handed secondary weapon. And then for armor, you can choose whatever you want, and then we will write in your stats. But I will pull up the equipment for you.
I mean, there's a bow staff. Gonna pick a bow staff.
You want a bow staff?
Got it.
Do you get a little headdress with 2 little feathers on the top of it that go in different directions?
Yeah.
A golden circlet?
Yeah.
I will note.
Piss off Buddha.
Magical weapons require a spellcasting trait.
Okay.
A bag full of beans?
Yeah, I'm talking. You know what I'm doing. I need a cloud.
Weapons are specifically labeled as secondaries and primaries?
Yes.
Sorry, are we picking both right now?
So you pick either one two-handed weapon or a one two-handed primary or a one-handed primary and a one-handed secondary.
Oh, okay. And then we can pick magic weapons?
If you have a spellcasting trait.
The fuck is a dual staff?
I don't know. Read it.
Just instinct, range, far, D6 plus 3 mag. I don't know what a mag is. Oh, magic.
Yeah, that's the
It's damage type.
Damage type.
So, I'm not exactly sure how to. The shorts. Sorry. There's a dual staff. There's a great staff.
Mm-hmm.
Their range is far and very far.
Mm-hmm.
It's a staff, correct? Like, does it mean that the weapon is only useful at far range?
I think it is. What does it do?
So dual staff just says instinct, far, two-handed. There's nothing
Hold on,
else
let me
to
find
describe it. Like, I don't know how range
This is a magic
works.
weapon?
Yeah, this is a magic weapon.
So, my impression is that is a ranged weapon. Because it is... I'm picturing like magical staff.
Sure. I'm visually, I'm trying to understand.
I have no idea. It's very strange. Like, I imagine, since it is range of close or far, that it's like, like a magical staff that shoots shit.
Yeah, that's
Especially because it does magic damage. So I imagine you flavor it however you want. So for you, being a flame junkie, you can sling fire at people for that at those ranges.
Yeah, I'm just like
I believe it's up. Oh, I think I understand your question. I believe it's up too close or up too far.
so I can, if it is far range, I could still use it close and melee. Okay. Because if I pick a staff, I kind of want to use it like a staff. I don't want to like fling stuff with it,
Yeah.
Like that's the
It does both.
Sure. I would just rather use it like a staff or like an extendo staff, like how I imagine Journey to the
You can
West.
flavor an extendo staff. If
Yeah,
you want to
that's-
flavor an extendo staff,
That's what I was going for.
that's hilarious.
It's a power pole.
What was that?
It's a power pole.
Yeah, power pole. Yes, it's technically the staff of the river dragon. See, Journey to the West. It's a god under the sea.
It's Dragon Ball.
I know, but
I don't remember.
in Journey to the West, it's some god under the sea or something like that.
Yeah, Dragon Ball, close enough.
Yeah, power pole. Yeah,
Same thing.
yeah. It's
Same,
all yeah.
Same exact story.
I bet, yeah. When you realize the Saiyans are just animate stones. Oh God. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that then. I'll do dual staff because I don't really want to worry about a secondary weapon. Yeah, I'm just gonna do dual staff.
It's such a strange. A spear is a finesse weapon. Okay. but its feature is that it's cumbersome, so it minuses 1 to your finesse. Okay.
That's weird. I wonder why.
Unlike a greatsword, which is just -1 to your evasion. However, on a successful attack, you roll an additional damage dice and discard the lowest result. That is so strange.
So, Rogue, suggested primary weapon, Dagger. Suggested secondary weapon, small dagger. When you dual wield, it gives you a +2 to primary weapon damage to targets within melee range. So when you make your primary weapon attack, you would get a +2 when you're dual wielding. Suggested armor, Gambison armor. You could choose your armor as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. So base score 3, what does that mean?
For the armor,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that is your armor slots.
Okay, so thresholds would be... So thresholds being 5 and 11.
Yeah, plus...
Okay, so anything lower than 5 is minor damage, correct? Or...
Yeah, well, right in the scores.
Is it these two looks like empty spaces between
Yeah.
them?
Correct.
Okay. So does that 3 go where the armor is, like the big empty slot?
I believe so.
Okay,
Suggested primary weapon, dual staff. Is that what you went with?
I did. Yeah,
That's funny. Suggested armor, Gambison.
yeah, that's what I wanted.
Gambison. Under inventory, for the sorcerer, you have a torch, 50 feet of rope, basic supplies, and a handful of gold. Your favorite.
Basic supplies.
You can choose between a health potion or a stamina potion. What is a stamina potion?
Yeah, what does a
do?
stamina potion do?
That's a good question.
Also, what does a health potion do? I imagine it's 1 point of health.
1d4.
Wow.
And stamina clears 1d4 stress. Pretty powerful.
I don't see what's the stress resource? How do you use it again?
So
Is it per class?
it's probably going to be your domain cards, would be my guess,
Okay.
is that you're going to have abilities, or it could be at level up later. You'll have abilities that allow you to eat stress to do an ability. And then otherwise, I can do things to put stress onto you.
Let me see what that resource opens up. If the domain
Okay.
gives me options to do with
Sure.
stress, then
Just
I might
Pick it later.
I might want to be able to recover that.
Yeah.
So it's torch, 50 feet of rope, basic supplies, and then that potion of either health or stamina, correct?
And a whole handful of gold.
And a whole handful of gold.
Have you chosen your weapons and armor?
Yeah.
Okay. Rogue. Okay. In your inventory, you have a torch, 50 feet of rope. Oh, it's the same thing. Basic supplies, and a handful of gold.
Is basic supplies the...
It just says basic supplies. I imagine it's like a explorer's pack type deal. It might be in loot somewhere in the book.
I'm looking to see if they have a description.
And then you also get to choose between a health potion or a stamina potion.
What was the stamina potion?
1d4 stress cleared. All right. I think we should skip ahead to the domain cards. So we do need to do the... we need to do creating a background and doing your experiences. But I think we should skip ahead before we get to that personality of your character and do the domain cards.
Okay.
That's what makes the most sense to me. Your domains are, for the rogue, might and grace. Let me find the domain cards for you real quick. You get to pick 2 cards. You have 2 domains. You can pick 1 card from each domain, or you could pick 2 cards from the same domain. They do have their own on Demiplane D&D Beyond like, which is so much easier than what we are doing right now. In my head, I had this all so streamlined.
Yeah, it happens.
All right. Can you hand these over to Gray? You get to choose 2 out of the whole stack. Sorcerer, Arcana, and Midnight as well. I believe I just gave all the Midnight ones to Gray.
I can look at Arcana first.
Now, technically, you guys can choose the same card from the Midnight one, so it doesn't have to be like a one or the other. We just only have so many cards in front of us.
What's the energy symbol at the top? Is that just hope? Or is that stress?
Let me see.
There's a little like energy symbol in the top right corner.
Oh, okay. So remember I talked about you could have 5 cards, right? And later you will have, right now you only have 2, but later you will have more than 5 cards. So you have what's called your vault, the inactive cards, right? Mm-hmm. Normally you can only change cards at downtime, but you can mark stress equal to the number in that top right to to exchange it in your vault.
Okay.
Yeah, to swap it. So that number in the top right is for stress to swap a card on the fly.
Okay.
That's what it is that I was missing. Your damage thresholds. You've already marked directly from the armor, right?
What was that?
Your armor, your damage thresholds?
Yeah, 5 and 11. Yeah.
Directly from the armor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You also add your level to both numbers.
Okay.
To the thresholds?
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering why in 2 places you mark down the number. If that makes sense, because you add things to it.
Yeah. And then because of your Simia thing, you add another one to it, right?
No, that's to evasion.
Oh, to your evasion. Gotcha.
Here.
Do you want to hand him the one that you picked from Midnight so that he could see it as well? Because you could technically both choose it.
I'm not keeping him. I'm just writing him down.
Oh. Okay.
Which one's Midnight? This one, I assume?
He handed you both. Let me see him.
Yeah.
I can't see that far. I need glasses.
God, you need glasses. Yes, if you can't see from that far.
Yeah, those are the Midnight ones.
Which one? You're handing me all 6 of them.
He really needs glasses.
Isn't this the other one that you had? Oh no, this is the other one that you had.
I put,
Gotcha. All good.
I put the other ones in front of you right there.
Okay.
I'm at least I'm holding on to the cards. I'll
Yeah. That's fine. And you marked that you start with 2 hope, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was it like 3 weeks ago? I had this all memorized. Now I'm like fumbling through books like, oh, what page was that on? Oh, shit. This does not bode well for me also trying to learn another system at the same time.
Yeah.
You got that marked?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So the last relative 3 things to do is our background, our experiences, and there was one more. Background, experience, and then our connections. Connections we could do last, because we're just still doing establishing the group. You also wanted to know about stamina and health after you chose your stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helped you at all.
I'm trying to think of what uses stress. I don't think any of my abilities really use stress, so I'm probably going to take the health potion.
Okay. It's D4.
Yeah.
It is consumable.
Mm-hmm.
That's your 1 get out of jail free card. So, before we get into... I imagine we'll do background and connections. Oh, actually, background is on the character guide. But I imagine we'll do that after we establish the party, as well as experiences. So, for experiences, just so you know what it is, an experience is a word or phrase that encapsulates a specific set of skills your character has acquired over the course of their life. Choose 2 experiences, each with a +2 modifier. There is no set list, though the examples below offer inspiration. So you could have a background-based experience: assassin, blacksmith, bodyguard, bounty hunter, chef of a royal family, blah, blah, blah. You could have characteristics: affable, battle-hardened, bookworm, charming, cowardly. You could have specialties: acrobat, gambler, healer, inventor, magical historian. Skills, like you might find on a D&D character sheet: animal whisperer, bartender, deadly aim, fast learner. Or just phrases, kind of like Kids on Bikes had: catch me if you can, fake it till you make it, first time's the charm, blah, blah, blah. Unlike those games, you have to spend hope in order to get that +2 from your experience. So it is resource-based. You don't get to just add it to everything. And it should be applicable wherever you are adding it. On the character guide, which is in that link that I had sent you, I added a character guide. You will find background questions. That's part of how you create a background in this game. I'm fine if you guys want to just read them and be inspired by them. But relatively, you should have somewhat understanding of your backgrounds. And then there's also connection questions, which I do want us to actually utilize to some degree, or at least be inspired by. So for a sorcerer, background questions are: what did you do that made the people in your community wary of you? What mentor taught you to control your untamed magic, and why are they no longer able to guide you? You have a deep fear you hide from everyone. What is it, and why does it scare you? Those are the background questions for the sorcerer. It's kind of how they handle like flaws and traits and things like that. For rogue, what did you get caught doing that you got exiled from your home community? You're a bad man. You're a bad man, Gray. You used to have a different life, but you've tried to leave it behind. Who from your past is still chasing you? Who from your past were you most sad to say goodbye to? Again, we don't have to use any of those. It is just suggested.
Is this suggestions for your experience, or is this suggestions for just your background?
This is for your background.
But the background is just for the character. It doesn't go on the sheet anywhere?
I guess you could just write it in your notes or something. I think we were supposed to have a printout of this second page and just didn't.
Oh, there's a second page.
I think there's... Yeah, I found a different document on their actual website that has a second page.
Oh. Sorry, how relevant is the background again? What is? Does it do anything?
It's not a stat thing. It's like the page that we always ignore in D&D.
Oh,
your
sure.
flaws and
Sure.
la-di-da blah blah. I actually don't care much about that. I'm fine if you guys just want to do that a little bit above table.
Yeah, I'll probably flesh that out later.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. But we should have a little bit of an idea at the table so you guys could choose your experiences. Unless you want to choose your experiences and come to the table with it next time.
I have my experiences chosen already.
Do you?
Yeah.
What are they?
You
get a +2 to these experiences.
So I chose charming from the list.
Okay.
And then the second one is sharing tea with a fascinating stranger is one of life's great delights.
It's a good thing you went vague so that it's applicable.
Yeah.
Not social butterfly. Sharing tea with a stranger specifically.
Yeah.
You know? Fair enough. So, before we get into any of this crap and your experiences and whatnot, I feel like it might help you guys if we talk about who you are. And we've kind of established the world ourselves. We have a relatively well-organized city under it's a theocracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Under the theocratic rulership of the church of Naevor, the Church of Naevor, with the voice of Naevor leading the church. There is a local guard. There is a military. There is also a church military. There's a bit of conquest and crusades that happen. There is feudalism is the word I was looking for. Relative levels of feudalism, lordships, people through duty can earn titles and land and become the lord of this region in the north or whatever, where they look over farmers and whatnot and rule under the tenets of the church. Things along that line. There is crime here, but it is likely limited. I imagine around the city there is outskirts of farms and things of that nature. You guys have some connection to which you have at least somewhat frequently, to the point where you would know each other. Who are you guys in this world, in this city? This is a conversation mostly between you two. You are only level 1 characters, so if you are someone of status, I imagine you are very low on the totem pole. If you were amongst the guards, I imagine you'd be low-ranking guards. If you're in the military, I imagine you're low-ranking military, whether that's church or government.
I don't know. I'm the son of the voice of...
Oh.
What are you feeling, Mr. Syndicate Rogue?
I don't know. My brain is fried at the moment.
If only your GM was more organized.
Yeah. It's also been here for a while.
Yeah. It's
if only your GM was more organized.
Yeah, I've been here for a whole shift of work.
So to give you baselines of so far of what I'm getting with my character,
mhm.
I kind of want him. I want him to be a charming guy. I don't have an idea of a voice yet, but I do know his name. His name is Hori Elknew. He loves tea, and hot tubs and relaxing. That's what I got so far.
Do you want to be a charming guy? All right. So, what if how Sov mentioned earlier that they're like inquisitors?
Okay.
And I imagine, the inquisitors, what they do is they do the inquisitions. They check for heresy and stuff. What if instead of, they only go to where it's known and where it's rife and vile, but there are low-level people who sniff it out.
We're the sniffers.
We're like the undercover inquisitor.
Yeah, we're the guys who help find. We rat people out.
Essentially.
Yeah.
You're like, not private, but you're like investigators.
Yeah.
You guys are low-level investigators that relatively sniff things out and either handle it or report it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Are you a secretive group? Is it known to the populace that you exist? Or even if it is, do you wear a sigil or anything?
I
Or do
can't
you operate
imagine
quietly?
I can't imagine we operate loudly.
No, there should be like,
There should be a level of
if
like.
there's a sign, it's something that you draw yourself to show that you're a part of that,
Yeah.
but you don't wear it or nothing.
Yeah,
So,
because we have to be able to see people doing things that are.
Do you relatively walk around and investigate, or do you kind of like insert yourself into a situation, like infiltrate?
Yeah, I said undercover. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Undercover.
kind
Okay.
of like just like act like normal people, and then like if there's a place that we might be told to go, or if we ourselves
Yeah. There's
suspect something.
there's a suspicion of activity of a certain kind in an area. We get sent to go hang around that area
Okay.
and see what we find.
And as like a syndicate rogue, I have a network of losers, I guess, in society.
Informants.
Yeah, and like I have them as my way of sussing things out sometimes, and sometimes people look the other way because they're my guys.
And I like having tea with strangers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All these people who just end up, going to jail after having tea with a monkey. It's really strange.
How did you both get into this?
I don't know. You're up.
Again, remember that there is always room for recruitment
I imagine
in this type of place.
my character was a bit of was one of those people that was lost, assigned, and then found himself in this position.
Sure.
Probably wandering with nothing really to do, and then kind of coming across or finding or like knowing that the church had this option to be like I don't know what to do with myself. Let me go whatever, and then just in the ranks of it, finding pretty skilled to be able to have people finding themselves saying more than they probably should have to me, and then that skill being recognized,
Sure.
or that quality being recognized, and then me being fished out as this thing.
Okay.
And then probably in that process meeting my giant friend of
Sure.
being assigned to this kind of work, and then we probably working somewhat together.
Mm-hmm.
Are you originally from Naevor, or are you just from the Heartlands and you got recruited and then sent to Naevor, and at what, if that is the case, how established are you here?
I would say I would probably originally from an outlying city, from one of the forested regions of Naevor, and then recruited, moved to the center of the city. I've probably been here for a couple of years.
Okay. Well, relatively established.
Yeah, relatively established in terms of knowing the ins and outs of the city.
In common places, people know your face, if not your name.
Yes, to a degree.
Yeah. To a degree.
Yeah.
And the giant?
I sought it out.
You sought it out.
Yeah.
It was a skill that you already had. Or that you wanted to have.
Maybe in getting to know some more criminal elements of the city, I decided that I don't like it.
Was there ever like a fork in the road where like before you sought it out, where you were like, I could go down this path as you might be good at it, or I could root it out of the city?
No, I could be good at this, and I could root it out of the city. So I decided to root it out of the city by being good at it.
Did you establish some of those connections before you signed on?
Yes, because there are people who, maybe they aren't so bad in what they do.
Sure.
And then there are people who are, kind of really frowned upon by the whole God of Order thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know what? These guys are whatever, but those guys suck. So I'm going to work to getting those guys sent straight to wherever it is we do to people like that.
Probably recruit them, send them to the front lines of the Crusades.
Yeah. That works.
Those people don't volunteer. Would
Send
you like to
send them
volunteer to
straight-
not be
Send
hung?
them straight to the high peaks.
Yeah. Would you like to volunteer to not be hung? Okay. Sweet. How long? You said you guys have known each other for a while. Are you partners in this? Do you sometimes work together?
Maybe not partners, but like we have our expertises work really well. So in such that we seek each other's help out
Sure.
every once in a while.
Okay, so your work is relatively less ordered. You
I imagine we might
follow the belief of order, but otherwise you are free to operate how you want, and there are other agents you can call upon. You two like calling upon each other.
We'll probably even have the same or a similar, like, whatever guy that's or leads our particular group. Our
Yeah, like we
subset.
work in like a same, I don't know,
under the same Inquisitor.
station.
Yeah.
You guys work directly under an Inquisitor?
Sure.
I like that. I like the idea of just sometimes you are in the room with the equivalent of like a level 20 paladin. And, and you just have to deal with that situation sometimes. Like staring a Death Knight down, if you will.
Are we turning this into a buddy cop situation?
I think
That's a
you guys
little
are
bit,
just
yeah,
turning
yeah.
this into buddy cop. I think you
Are we
guys
the
just
other
made
guys?
me
We're
run,
the other guys, yeah.
run buddy cop.
Yeah. We are the other guys.
Okay. So in this theocracy ruled by the church, word that comes down to both the people and the people of the church and the people of the local guard, all under that voice of Naevor, on the very, very low end of it, in the line of work of Inquisitors, a rank that you will never actually reach. The Inquisitors are born to be Inquisitors. They are voluntold as little orphans and trained elsewhere and brought back. That being said, you can establish yourself pretty well here. There are paths, if you are ambitious, where you could become either someone important within the line of work that you do, or even graduating beyond that, perhaps one day as the world expands, as Naevor expands into other territories of these godless folk. You could perhaps one day earn yourself a lordship if you were that ambitious. Otherwise, you have handfuls of gold. You can support yourselves as you need to, as you are tasked on various things, sometimes seeking out other low-ranking investigators who might have a better skill set for whatever it is that you are investigating, whatever threads that you are pulling on, which is commonly how you find each other and work together. So, I do want to do the connections, and I know you guys might find them a little bit silly, but I think it is an interesting way of establishing a player party. If for nothing else, just inspiration for questions that you might want your party to ask along similar lines. Maybe not exactly the same, because these are... One thing I find about the background questions and connections is they are very, very specific, which I'm not totally in love with. And then also they're the same every time. Every time you play a rogue, it's the same 3 questions.
Yeah.
But it is our first time playing, so it doesn't matter as much. And it is supposed to be a guideline. You should be able to ask one of these connections, though you can do more, or you can do your own of each other. But the questions that the rogue would ask to the sorcerer: what did I recently convince you to do that got us both in trouble? What have I discovered about your past that I hold secret from others? Who do you know from my past, and how have they influenced your feelings about me? These are questions that he answers about you, but you choose which question.
To go with the theme of the other guys, the first one.
What did I recently convince you to do that got us both in trouble? What has he convinced you to do that's gotten you in trouble?
I'm supposed to answer that?
Yeah.
My brain is saying going too deep in a particular group, like going to a location and getting too involved. I'm just trying to think of like the context of that and how that would work.
Well, perhaps off the back of that, because like that, to a degree that is your job, but perhaps it was in a reoccurring problem from an organization, like a reoccurring organization. You guys have cracked down on them multiple times, but they keep coming back, indicating that they are prevalent to some degree. And you guys getting caught and getting in trouble, you, as investigators, are now both known to that group.
Sure.
Does that work?
Sure, that works.
Just playing off the back of
yeah,
the line that you were going down?
sure.
Okay. And then for the sorcerer, Why do you trust me so deeply? What did I do that makes you cautious around me? Or why do we keep our shared past a secret?
What was the second one again?
What did I do that makes you cautious around me?
I'll do that one. I feel like Gray's character would trust nobody that deeply.
Why do you trust me so much?
What did he do?
Hey.
Be a monkey.
I was about to say, don't bleed out the actual feelings. Also, don't laugh so hard at that, all right?
He is a fire sorcerer, if that gives you any inspiration. He's also overly friendly, I imagine.
Overly friendly, wanting to be overly friendly with people. Yeah. Maybe also a little too relaxed in situations that
he got so into trying to work his way in with a potential target that in his little, hey, I can be cool, guys, kind of way, just set a tavern on fire because he's a fire sorcerer, and that's just what people do when they have that power.
all right.
Do you feel like, so you can always workshop it and be like, I don't think that really fits my character.
It's fine.
No, he was doing little, monkey magic fire tricks.
I got a little drunk and I got a little,
Too much spiked tea.
Too much spiked tea.
Too much, what's the hard tea that people like? Twisted tea.
Twisted tea.
Too much twisted tea.
Right.
A little bit of fire.
Well, magic got a little out of hand.
Yeah.
Just really trying to show off to the guy and place caught on fire, and it's like, come on, man.
How did that resolve in a place that cracks down so hard? Do people know that happened? Do they know that Hori was the cause of this?
No, they just knew it was chaos.
Just chaos.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Cool. I believe
the original. Sorry, not going to actually backtrack. But the original question was that the thing that got us in trouble or me in trouble. The original question I was supposed to answer.
He convinced you to do it. It got you and you both in trouble.
Okay, never mind.
I believe.
Yeah, it was us.
Yeah. Because part of me also wanted to say that you gave me a gambling problem.
Sure.
Because it was like trying to get into a connection of gamblers, and then I eventually found out that I really love to gamble. But that would be like my problem, not a your.
Hey.
I mean, it could be both.
I didn't introduce you to that gotcha game. You did it yourself.
Yeah, I got you both in trouble.
Yeah, it's fine. It could stay the way it is.
Sure. Okay. So, we have these Inquisitor acolytes, investigators, a otherwise undercover group that infiltrates and disperses, either directly dealing with or reporting, depending on level of severity. You might directly deal with something, or you might just report it. Any insurrection or criminal activity or anything along those lines in the city of Naevor. Sweet. Did you do your experiences?
I'm going to think about those.
You want to think on them?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and we can do whatever in the, midweek, if there's anything else that we need to tend to.
Mm-hmm.
You did your armor?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, your damage thresholds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well,
What are those exactly?
the damage thresholds?
Yeah.
So what are your numbers? So it's your
and-
base armor plus your level. And what are your numbers?
6 and 12.
6 and 12. So if you receive damage that is 5 or lower,
Mm-hmm.
that is 1 hit point that you would mark. If it is between 6 and 11, That is
If it's above 12, then
2.
it's 3.
And
Yeah.
if it's above 12, it's 3. Correct. And you can always use an armor slot to
And base
otherwise
armor is the
reduce.
slots, right?
What's
Yes.
that? Yeah.
A base armor number is the number
the
of
base
slots. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can always reduce with a slot the severity of damage coming in. All right. Well, I apologize. It wasn't as organized as I meant to be.
All right. A long one.
It was a little bit of a long one. A lot of silences that need to be cut out. I can't imagine anybody has stuck around. But if anybody is sticking around, we appreciate you. And we will see you for session 1 of Daggerheart next time on System Exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Please like, subscribe, hit bells, and we have links in the description. Check those out. And we will see you next time for some Daggerheart.
Bye.